Your man, I give you no break. Not even your eyes, you not give you no breaks. Well, hey, bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you?
Troops is filmed on location with the men of the Imperial Forces. All suspects are guilty, period. Otherwise, they wouldn't be suspect, would they?
I joined the Empire about 6 years ago. I can remember as a kid, watching the holographic images and being excited about the new direction that the galaxy was taking. So when I was old enough, I went down to the local recruitment center, and signed up. And I've been here at Tatooine ever since. Most people would call this the ass end of space, but I like the small town feeling you get around here. I mean, we know everybody. Everybody. And I feel I can really make a difference here. We got a routine stop here. We have a report of some stolen droids, and we think these might be it. Excuse me. You want to come over here, please? Yeah, I'm talking to you. Whose droid is this? It's your cousin's. Is this your cousin? Is this your cousin? Are you his cousin? We're off. Yeah, shut it off. Shut it off. Well, what we had here was that these Jawas had stolen some Imperial property, and it unfortunately turned violent. These Jawas do this kind of stuff all the time, picking up, stray droids and selling them off to the highest paying customers.
Well, we didn't find the droids we were looking for, but we did find one that a kid had reported stolen. So he and his parents are gonna come down to the detention center and pick it up.
Boy, I'll bet they'll be happy.
Yep, that's what it's all about.
HK882, possible 237, Moisture Farm.
We got a call to check out this domestic dispute. Now, supposedly the husband said something to their kid, and now the wife thinks that he's run off, supposedly one of them's intoxicated and one of them's injured. Now, we're familiar with this couple. This is not the first time we've been out here, so we're gonna see if we can straighten this whole thing out. All right, well, what's the problem?
I've had it! I've had it with him! He keeps lying to Luke and me, and now Luke's run off and hasn't come back!
That's ridiculous.
Hey! I'll talk to you in a second. Right now I'm talking to your wife, all right?
Okay.
And Luke's probably dead now because of you!
Now, Baru, just calm down. Calm down, okay? Now, do you want to be arrested? Well, if you keep this up, that's just what I'm going to have to do. You don't want that, do you?
No.
Okay, then. Now you're going to calm down? Okay, good. Why don't you start over?
Well, yesterday Luke comes in and says, I think these droids...
Now, Luke's your boy?
My nephew. Anyway, he says, I think these droids we bought might be stolen. And then he says, well, I don't care. Your only concern is to get them working. And Luke is like, I want to go to the academy. And he says, well, I need you for the harvest this year. And then he starts talking about Obi-Wan and his father.
I did not.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. You're just lying. You're always lying to him. You never tell him the truth about him or his sister.
Baru, shut up.
No, I'm tired of shutting up. You shut up.
Well, you can both shut up or spend a night in the detention area, all right? All right? Now, look. What do you want to do now, Baru? Baru, what do you want to do now?
I don't know.
Okay, now see, that's wrong. What do you mean you don't know? You obviously have a problem, otherwise we wouldn't be...
I don't have a problem.
Baru, come here. Now look, do you see his ear? How it's cut like that? Now, it didn't get that way by itself, did it?
No.
And you did that, didn't you? Yes, you did. Now, see, that tells me you have a problem. And when we get called in, then it becomes our problem. And
Yeah, but he was the one who started
Now,
it.
wait a second, Baru. I'm talking. I listen to you, now you listen to me. That's how this works, okay? Now, are you going to listen to me?
Yes.
Sure you are. Now, how many times have we been out here, Baru? A lot, huh? We know the way by heart. What did I tell you last time?
I don't know.
You don't know or you don't remember?
I don't know.
Baru, what do you want to do?
I want you to arrest him.
And you owe me big time.
I can't arrest him. He hasn't done anything. If there's anybody I should be arresting, it should be you for assault. Baru, you have two choices here. And yelling and arresting him are not two of them. Now you can stay here or we can take you to an Imperial shelter. What do you want to do? Baru, what do you want to do? Do you want us to take you somewhere tonight? Huh? Do you?
Yes.
Okay. Now do you need to get anything? Some clothes or something?
Yes. You'll find Luke, won't you?
Yeah. We'll
Luke's
find
all
Luke.
right.
Yeah.
He's just working.
Oh, pain in the butt. See, the wife is under the delusion that their nephew ran away, right? And she's blaming the husband for it. He's saying that the kid left early to fix a couple of condensers and that the stress of the past week has just, gotten to him. So we're just going to separate it for the night because if we have to come out here again...
Tell me something I don't know.
I'm telling you, I'm ready to shoot them both.
Yep, right there with you.
Look, she's been under a lot of stress lately.
Oh.
We lost a couple of our hired hands and... I don't know, just got carried away a little bit.
Yeah, I know. But right now I think the best thing for both of you is to get some distance from each other for a couple of days.
Yeah, I've been telling her, and telling her she needs some help. I've been telling her for a long time now.
Oh, this is probably the best thing for her right now. You know what I mean? Just leave it alone, let it be.
Fine.
Yeah. You should really have someone look at that ear.
I'll be fine.
Okay.
Let it go.
Should have seen this coming.
Thermal detonator! Get back! Get
Well, as you can see, things got a bit nasty here. I mean, it's unfortunate, but it was almost expected with these people. Well, the farmers out here are having a bad season. Tempers are high, and it's just bad for everyone. The important thing now is that we find their nephew, Duke, and make sure he's okay.
Hey, did she say they just bought some stolen droids or something?
Yep. Damn shame.
HK-888, check out possible disturbance, Mos Eisley Cantina. HK-888, roger that, control.
And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Another episode we have of Saturday Night Sith. Welcome. And that was the Star Wars fan film Troops, one of my absolute favorites that you got to keep alive on the internet one way or another, and it has. But I definitely had to at least show it to Hitman if he had not seen it yet.
I have not, and that, I don't know what's better, that or, obviously, the films that we were shown before were probably, I don't know. It's hard, man, because I love, growing up watching Cops and that, Troops, so that was very, very enjoyable. Very, very enjoyable.
And, for as many times as I've rewatched that little episode thing,
never gets older.
It never gets old, for one. It's great. I love how they have the Tom Servo robot in there from Mystery Science Theater 3000 as one of the droids being stolen by the Jawas. Always awesome to see that. But also what I noticed for the first time was when Uncle Owen was kind of turning away from the stormtroopers. He's like, Ben, you owe me big time for this.
Right.
I'm like, holy hell, I've never caught that before.
Right.
And for all intents and purposes, I completely consider that canon. There's something about that whole thing I could totally see going down, being the situation. I mean, yeah, it's a little humor and stuff like that, but you can see there'd be possibly a little heat going on between the two, especially as Luke just bunks off like that, and all of a sudden more questions about Vader and yada yada.
I love Baru with the bomb. I thought that was very, very enjoyable.
That's what it had.
Like, oh, you bastard, come here.
I should have seen this coming.
You're always lying to Luke. I was laughing very, very hard. I could see this, like, if they did their own, like, docu-series, the life of the...
If only they'd done more of those, that would have been just freaking fantastic.
Listen, this could be more popular than, with the Kardashians. Like, in the, we had to come up with a catchy, I don't know, in the life of the Lars or something.
Well, and you know what I love about it, too, is, and again, this was something I was kind of paying, and I've always noticed it already, but it was just one of those things that stuck out to me. And it's like, this is a bunch of fans doing this. The armor looks fantastic, and on top of it, it actually looks lived in. It doesn't look
better than but I thought,
it doesn't have that quote unquote like kind of worn, rusted look, but at the same time, the armor's still looking shiny as hell, or still kind of having that like plastic shiny look to it, where it just looks like very cosplay-y.
I thought that was the Boba from Empire Strikes Back.
They actually did a really good job with all that. It's like,
you bring up a good point before jumping into the show. Like, if this is we've I think touched on this in the past, but these are like fan-made films that are and just immaculate compared to like what Disney and the Mouse are producing.
Well, it's again that like we've talked about before. It's that whole just having a passion for the property and just just wanting to put together something fun.
I mean, if Disney ever decided to like actually want to do a good job and create some legit content, maybe they should start hiring some fans instead of every idiot that they have working for them.
Well, then that would mean they might get something accomplished and do something right.
How dare you? Yeah. Very enjoyable though. Probably top 3 things I've seen so far to date.
Yeah, I mean, just them questioning the Jawas, and as soon as one breaks away, they take the one out, and he's like, and then the second one's getting away. He's like, "I've got this one."
Well, it makes perfect sense why Owen is always in a bad mood, and how he responded to why he was talking to Bruce, in A New Hope. They better be on those condensers by South Morning, or there's going to be hell to pay.
Yep.
You probably sent him on to do errands, Baru.
Great. God.
Thank you for sharing that. I'm going to start watching that every night before bed. It's going to be my new routine.
Oh, boy.
What a show we have in store tonight. I'm, so excited. That was a great segue into the show.
Yeah, we're going to be going from a passionate fan film to a dispassionate cash grab. I don't know.
If you want to call it that. Soulless cash grab part 37.
Soulless cash grab? Yeah. More as it's been already kind of talked about from other groups, but we're gonna get a bait and switch. It's gonna be fun, isn't it?
May's gonna be I'm excited for May. So excited.
Oh yeah.
We can't reveal a lot of stuff right now, but all I can say is tune in.
Yeah, should we just kind of go over the trailer?
Yeah.
For Obi-Wan Kenobi here.
Well, do we want to do that now, or it's whatever we do now.
I would say we'll knock the trailer out, and then we'll kind of get into some of the articles that have been posted up and around and stuff like that. So
so excited.
We'll be getting into this. We'll get into this here.
Yeah, I'm so excited. Not for the trailer, but
this is probably a series they should have knocked out very early on, just so we got Tatooine out of the way. Because as we've kept going back to Tatooine a little too much.
Yeah.
But yeah, so here, and I just decided to rip this off of YouTube because screw them.
Yeah.
I don't want to give them any other clicks or views or anything like that, even though I do have ad blocker and stuff like that. But I don't know how much that really
probably
pays off.
They make money off of it regardless.
True enough, but yeah. Here we go. And this is... He's got his Eopie.
The fight is done.
This is what it's kind of... They're already kind of queuing in on it. And, you know, if he's going to be... Like we'll be talking about with some of these articles, he's going to be the broken down Ben and stuff like that. Very kind of mopey and depressed. And it's just... to me, it's just... If we wanted to see that Ben Kenobi, that Obi-Wan, whatever, that should have been at the... This should have been more taking place at the end of Revenge of the Sith.
Right.
Where it's still a fresh wound. Where it's, yes, he's really having to wrestle with his choices, leaving Anakin alive on Mustafar.
Which is a bad move, Obi. Bad move.
Or just, you know, having to, you know, endure all that, and whether or not what's going to be ahead of him is still going to be the right path. Trying to commune with Qui-Gon and all that. Then that's also stuff that was in the Kenobi book. But, you know, it just for 10 years later, I feel like he should have at least had some of his shit together.
Well, I guess before we play the trailer, is this legit 10 years after, or is it?
It's supposed from all the as far as I know, official word and stuff like that. This is 10 years later, because like it is, he's watching over. It'll show. So listen, we can get a little bit ahead of here, because it does have him hanging out outside of the Lars homestead, as we're gonna see here, and he's seeing Luke. And I did see a funny meme on this of like, oh great, this pod racing crap again. But yeah, as we can kind of see here, he looks probably about 10 years old.
So what's interesting about you bringing up the 10 years old or the 10 years after or whatever is I was reading, I'll have to find the Twitter handle and put it in the description, but somebody was saying that they're going to incorporate Kenobi into, not my words, but Mandoverse, which the article about inside. Yeah,
we talked about
Inside the Magic, or Inside the Magic, I believe is the site article I was reading it from. But yeah, they're going to incorporate, like, Kenobi is going to somehow mix with Mando and the Mandalorian, which is very interesting. So I don't know. We go ahead and play, and then we
which
dive
would
more
mean,
into
like, you know, Mando himself, Din Dark, whatever the hell his name is, he would have to be like himself, 10, 11, maybe 12 years old. He's gonna be a kid.
Yeah.
So how can he fit into the quote unquote Mandoverse?
Well, ask
or with the Mandalorian.
This is the second time they've rewritten this the screenplay for this, apparently.
Supposedly.
It was too bleak. Her words, not mine. I think she meant to say weak. She doesn't know the difference. She misspelled weak wrong.
Weak, bleak. Yeah, she probably doesn't know the difference between it, considering all the crap that they've been putting out.
But it's a legitimate question, because, like it said, the article that I read was they were going to intermingle the two, and I don't know how that's possible if this is 10 years after the fact.
Yeah,
Mandalorian's 5 or 6 after the end of the Empire.
Yeah, 5 or 6. Yeah, 5. I want to say 5 years, because I think that's what in this.
Either I'm really bad at math, or somebody's really stupid at Disney. I would choose the latter.
Well, yeah, obviously. So it's just, I don't know how any of that's gonna be fitting in between the two. I mean,
Din Djarin's got to at least be, like to your point, 12 years old. Maybe Obi's gonna help raise Din Djarin.
or it somehow run into maybe the Mandalorian clan that he's a part of would be my only guess.
In Reno, Nevada, Las Vegas. At the gambling gambling cantina.
That would be, it's my only guess was that's what it would be. All right, let's
continue with it.
Stay hidden.
Yeah, and you should be staying on Tatooine. And the member berries. I saw on Twitter, it was Raging Rhino. He was talking about this, how, the only reason why people felt anything when they started cueing some of the old was the prequel music.
The music, yeah.
And, he showed, of course, from Phantom Menace, the start of the fight with Obi-Wan, Qui-Gon, and Darth Maul, and it goes through the whole and has like clips that was taken, from the movie of just their fight. And that's it. That's where you get that emotion. And when I was first watching this trailer, I had to kind of kick myself and go, wait, they're playing at you, bro.
Yeah. 100%.
They're trying to tug at the
heartstrings.
They're doing the nostalgia bait. They're like, hey, remember? Which is funny considering they tried to, from the get-go with, like, I think The Force Awakens was they were trying to distance themselves from the past and stuff like that, their own little jab towards the prequels. But now, because of how horrible the sequel trilogy was, everyone's looking more fondly upon the prequels who weren't originally.
Yeah.
And, I'll admit, my first time around with the prequels, I wasn't a super fan. Some of it didn't sit totally well with me. But
Jar Jar.
But even before the whole sequels and stuff like that, rewatching them, always kind of including them with watching the OT, the original trilogy, I stopped getting so annoyed by them. I was like, you know what, this actually isn't so bad. And yeah, then you get to Revenge of the Sith, of course, and that is probably the best one of the prequel trilogy, just because of how it just, for one, the music, and then just how it just culminates into pushing into the Empire and what that brings, and Anakin's fall and all that. And yeah, there's still some stuff I'll easily go, yeah, they could have done certain things a little better.
Right.
But we had a consistent vision. Lucas was doing his thing, good or bad. And it was a much more fun experience than Jar Jar, the Mouse, and Rian Johnson.
We should do a shameless plug and say, like, if you enjoyed Revenge of the Sith, the movie, you should check out the book, because the book is, you got me on the book. You were telling me about the book.
I was shilling the audiobooks real hard for you.
Oh yeah, and I picked it up and read it by Matthew Stover. Amazing. I mean,
absolutely.
I've never been so. I was probably almost as captivated reading that book that I was reading Plagueis. And me, Plagueis is up their top two.
Absolutely.
Up there with the Bane series. So shameless plug. Read the book. Hashtag legends, choose legends.
I just, there's a part, sometimes I just kind of wish they would go back for some of these audiobooks and redo them with the 6 movies music, especially for Revenge of the Sith, to have the music that was used in Revenge of the Sith for that book would just be icing on the cake. It'd be
I think,
but it's still great as it is. But
you brought up an interesting. I don't know if you're joking, but you're like, oh, I'm sure Random House Audio is owned by the Mouse now because they're not kicking. It's hard to find audiobooks now.
Well, they did do the anniversary re-release of Thrawn, of the first Thrawn book.
Yeah, they did.
And the ones that are on there now are unabridged. I had one of them was abridged, and some of them weren't. But I think it's the middle book that was abridged that I had. But now on Audible, you can get the audiobooks.
Yeah.
As far as I know, all 3 unabridged. And I'm like, oh, hell. And it was kind of, because I've been listening to those now. I grabbed them, and I don't know if I should feel bad because I don't know if I've given money to the Mouse now or Amazon or what. But
They're Jeff Bezos
It's
is in bed with.
It's at least going towards. Yeah, it's at least going towards the idea. I guess you could justify it of supporting legends. Yeah. But no, I was listening to the first Thrawn book, and it was like when it started hitting with some of those music cues that I could tell was from like Revenge of the Sith and stuff. I'm like, ooh, that's good.
Yeah.
That goes so well. And then I started thinking, man, it'd be great if they redid the some of the old audio books and make them all unabridged.
The fight
include all of that. Include all that music and stuff, and it'd just be fantastic. Don't include any of the sequel trilogy. Yeah. Don't include any of the sequel trilogy music. We don't need it. It's bad. Just stick with the good stuff. We haven't even hit an hour 20, and he's already gotten bounced out of the call. Well, this is a first. He must have accidentally hit a button. J Hitman has dropped from the call. Hopefully he won't be too long before he gets back in here, and then we can continue with the trailer and the member berries that they hit. Area. Oh, is that him? Still says device not connected. Give him a moment. Come on. This is why I'm still trying to get him on a computer to be doing this instead of on his phone. There we go. Not even an hour 20 minutes in, bro. and you're crashing.
Dude, that's not me. So here's the thing. I heard what you were saying, and I'm fully convinced that the mouse is there watching our show. the amount of, the followers that we have, I believe that they are following us, because it's just interesting when we start besmirching the mouse's name, they kick me. I don't know why they don't kick you. Maybe, I don't know, but they think I'm just an a-hole, I guess.
I'm too powerful.
Yeah, but no, I heard what you're saying.
Yeah, okay. All right, let's continue on with this.
The key
to everything.
Jedi is patience.
He looks at his God.
Jedi cannot help what they are.
No.
Their compassion leaves a trail.
You know, this was actually the funny, and this is something one of these days I'm going to drag my brother into this. But he made a really good point, is that, they almost tapped onto something good with that line about the Jedi's compassion and they're basically following what good deeds they do. So it's almost like, oh, anybody does a good deed in the galaxy, Jedi. But like my brother made the point was that it almost touches on Cara from Knights of the Old Republic 2. How she kind of gives those lessons of, through the Force and doing good deeds, it leaves that mark through the Force.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where that would have been like, ooh, you're really kind of expanding on that, aren't you? Or at least trying to definitely would have made it sound a lot more interesting for sure. And would have been cueing to that and would have kind of sparked some. It would have just been more of like people going, oh, okay, here they go, looting more from Legends material after they got rid of it, which they've been doing plenty of. But yeah, I wanted to at least bring that up because I thought that was a really good point that he made. I had to share it.
100%.
Because that was always the whole thing with Cara teaching you was, what good, bad, all left these marks on the galaxy in some form or another. So it was always, anyways.
Let's take notes from Cara.
Right? Well, some notes.
Some notes. Fair point.
The Jedi code is like an itch.
Oh, are we going to start actually hearing the codes?
Where is he?
Disney loves retconning their own shit, right? Yeah. God forbid they actually retcon out these stupid lightsabers. These stupid helicopter lightsabers.
Yeah. If I see him fly, I'm quitting. I'm kidding. Mike.
No, at this point, I do want, as much as these stupid things annoy me, and I would think that they should have just, gotten rid of them. I'll at least find it hilarious when we do get to see the Inquisitors flying out in space or whatever the hell they do, because we know they're going to do it at some point. At some point, they're going to be flying because Filoni's a dumbass. And your camera's on.
Dude, it's all right. See my face.
No,
yeah, I was saying, yeah. Did he fly in the trailer? Because I watched probably 45.
He doesn't fly. He just does the spinny thing right here.
Was that in Rebels?
So, yes, that was in Rebels. That was one of the many things I'm just like, oh, you gotta be kidding me with this crap.
I didn't watch Rebels, but I did see on Twitter. I have to find the Twitter handle, but somebody was posting. They're like, Revolution if we see them start flying or something like that.
Oh, that'll finally be their tipping point, huh?
Yeah. But then I saw the clip, and it was such crappy animation. I could only assume that it was Rebels. But you see this Inquisitor, like he's actually flying like a helicopter.
Yeah. And did you see on Instagram, Star Wars Theory, he posted that fan edit of this Inquisitor that actually made him look more like his portrayal in the Rebels show. And I saw the one. Yeah, it looked a lot better. And it's like,
oh yes, I did. I also saw my favorite one was Egghead or Conehead rendition. I think you sent me. I don't know which Twitter handle that was, but I would watch it if they replace this ridiculous schmuck with Conehead. I think it would be much more tolerable because this guy looks just terrible. And everybody wants to talk crap about like the prequels and the animation and all that, but look at 2005 and look at now.
Yeah,
like
no, it's again, yeah. It's funny how the quality has dropped so much.
People want to say Lucas sucks at writing and directing and all this and that, but look at what he created and look at what these guys are like. And you really want to sit there? You have the audacity to sit there and argue it? Like, what basis are you arguing? Because like you're literally an idiot if you think this thing that we're seeing right now, this guy that hasn't seen the light of day ever, versus the characters that we've seen in the prequels and even the original. So it just like look at this guy. This guy's is he a vampire?
Well, I've seen it. I forget what race it is. It is like those the race of people that was on oh god, now my brain is completely blanking. It was where General Grievous was hiding out on was it Utapau? I think it was Utapau. But it was it was that race of people that this guy's supposed to be from.
Yeah.
And so they did I saw like comparisons between that from Revenge of the Sith to this. This is like wow.
No, that's a meme that I saw on Twitter. Was it OG Star Wars? I forget who it was.
I'm looking right. Yeah, I was trying to find it really quick because I just wanted to grab it.
The guy from the Prime Minister of
Utapau. Yeah. That's what I was trying to figure out.
Look at how he looked, and look at this is a $2.50 costume. Like you could buy the supplies you need at the Dollar General.
Yeah.
Literally, like I'm not even joking. You could probably find what you need to make at least the makeup. In this ridiculous suit. Yeah.
Okay. Continuing on.
Yes.
This is supposed to be another character from the Rebel show, but he looks like this.
Are they in Seoul, Tokyo? Like, where are they?
I don't know. I know they in one of the it was one of the is in one of the articles that we talked about it that I think it's from Inside.
Oh,
the Mag.
it's Reno.
Basically, it looks. I mean, this is shit. This looks like they wanted to keep grabbing from old canon and lore and stuff like that. They could have just very easily probably called this Nar Shaddaa, but they didn't. They called it. They're calling it some other new planet. It was like another gambling planet, which
Vegas.
when we talked about, which when we talked about it, we were talking, then mentioned, what about that stupid place in the Last Jedi? Wasn't that another gambling planet with all the rich elites and whatever the crap?
Right.
So it's like we got another one and another one. It's like, oh, boy, I guess there would be multiple planets.
What the hell is he
dedicated.
wearing on his head? Right? Is that a basket on his head?
It looks like it, doesn't it?
Ugh. He's gonna go fishing later.
Whee! Does it though? Especially when we know what become. And there's the Vader. The Vader breathing. Limited series. Oh boy, we're in for some fun, aren't we?
Dude, I'm telling you, the only reason why I watched this, and I wasn't even really focusing on like the actual trailer. I was just listening to music. I mean, that's it.
Yeah, here's the Star Wars series image that he posted.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not it. Yeah, it's like you guys can do this. You just choose not to. And then I did when people started posting this around. I'm almost like, okay, now are they going to go back in for post-production stuff and try and quote unquote fix it or add these elements to the show?
Well, what's interesting is like Kennedy is now rewriting this, like they're rewriting the story because, and again, you can. Well, I'll send the Twitter handle that the guy the article that I was reading, but it was like literally her who came out and said we're rewriting it because it's too bleak. So I just wonder, like, are they just going to rewrite the story? Are they going to fix the character? I mean, there is no fixing this series. Like you've screwed it. You screwed the pooch from the beginning, but I don't know, man. I think Ooh. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, here I found. Yeah, I had this one too.
I think I tagged you in it. I think
you probably did.
Tag you in everything.
Hang on. So sharing that, and then there's this as well. Boom. Because this is also this person, Jedi Daredevil.
I think this is the one. This is the guy I saw.
I'm begging Disney Plus Star Wars shows to be more consistent with looks of the alien species. And then here's the guy from Utapau.
Yeah.
And here's another of the race in this. And then even Shakti.
It was a deleted scene, by the way. Great scene.
Yeah, this is a funny thing. She was in two different deleted scenes that they had her. This one, which you can see Grievous in the background, that was supposed to kill her, and then I think there was supposed to be another one with Anakin killing her as well. And then of course the way Ahsoka Tano looks, it's like, how does they get so cheap looking?
There's no excuse with them charging $6,000 for 2 nights. That's
a whole other thing right there.
For sure, but you can afford a little bit of money to create some, solid content.
Yeah, no, and it's funny. I made a note of it for the Mandalorian episode, but before we're not going into that just yet, but it's like I noticed something that I was like, oh, so that's where they got the idea for some of the food.
Yeah.
So anyway, so like you brought up earlier was the whole there we go. Obi-Wan Kenobi scripts were too bleak.
Ugh. Is this the one I tagged you in, or did you find? I think this might be the same.
The IGN article.
Yeah, IGN,
and I just got it on an archive link. Cause screw them. Yeah, after the events of Revenge of the Sith, it looks as though Obi-Wan Kenobi is in a bad place. His fellow Jedi have been hunted and killed, and those who survived were driven into hiding. But it could have been a lot worse, apparently. During an interview with Entertainment Weekly, Lucasfilm boss Kathleen Kennedy revealed that the original Obi-Wan Kenobi scripts were scrapped because they were just too bleak. Quote, we're looking ultimately to make a hopeful, uplifting story, she explained. It's tricky when you're starting with a character in the state that Obi-Wan would be in coming off of Revenge of the Sith. That's a pretty bleak period of time. You can't just have the magic wand with any writer and arrive at a story that necessarily reflects what you want to feel.
Lucas did.
Exactly. Worried about the direction of the upcoming series, Kennedy decided to halt production in favor of a rewrite. Obi-Wan star Ewan McGregor admits that the series starts in a pretty dark place. We find Obi-Wan at the beginning of our story rather broken and faithless and beaten. Again, though, like I already mentioned, this is supposed to be years later, 10 years later. This I could at least have a bit of an understanding if this was taking place right at the end of Revenge of the Sith.
It's not that this is 10 years.
Yeah.
Supposedly. Unconfirmed.
Yeah, as far as we know. And for all we know, maybe the first episode is right after all of that. And it's supposed to be then, takes place for that. They do a time jump 10 years later sort of thing. Who knows?
If that's the case, I'm being really just frustrated because the pacing of Boba was so spectacularly on point.
And I didn't even realize that he was supposed to have been spending that much time with the Tuskens and stuff. It's like, okay, I guess cool. All that time bunking around in the desert for 5 freaking years.
Who's directing this? I mean, we'll talk more about this, obviously in May. But I wonder who's actually directing Kenobi. Like, is it Well,
I think it's still. I mean, I'm pretty sure Filoni has his hands in it, but I don't know who the exact showrunner is at the moment. I forget. I know they've mentioned the name or so.
There's no way Filoni. There's no way that Filoni would. Dude, if Filoni is involved and he's been deemed a god, little g, by the mouse, Kathleen wouldn't have come out and said we're going to scrap it and rewrite it. Because she's going to pump up Filoni for what he is. So I wonder if it's...
I don't know. I'm just saying, like, he might have a hand in it. I'm not saying he's the sole man in charge. But yeah.
There's a scapegoat. He's riding it, and there's somebody else behind the scenes.
So faithless and beaten, he explained, somewhat given up. He's different because of what happened at the end of episode 3 with Order 66 and the Jedi Order being slaughtered and everyone who survived going into hiding. After dealing with his personal failure with Anakin, he feels that it's his personal responsibility that he allowed Anakin to be tempted over to the dark side and that he wasn't able to stop that. His teaching wasn't able to protect Anakin from that. I think obviously weighs very heavily on him. Even after the rewrites, it sounds as though Obi-Wan Kenobi doesn't pull any punches. The first Obi-Wan Kenobi trailer saw us return to Tatooine with our first look at the return of Darth Vader to follow. Bringing back his old apprentice, now as Darth Vader, sets up the clash we've all been waiting for. This person's words, not mine.
Yeah.
Not that I have to make that clear, but throw in new villain. I'm gonna say this, and I agree with a lot of people that have already been stating this. Very temporary new villain in the form of Inquisitor Reva. I don't know.
Reva McIntyre? What?
And it looks as though Obi-Wan is in for a pretty tough time, enough to make a man consider becoming a hermit, perhaps. Obi-Wan Kenobi star Ewan McGregor's iconic Jedi with Hayden Christensen said it appears Darth Vader, and we wonder if he's going to be removing his mask half the time or if they'll actually stick him in the helmet the whole time. So it makes me wonder if they're going to actually how they're going to represent that he's the man behind the costume, because they can't just let any of that rest. Welcome back again, sir.
Welcome back.
Okay, so here we go. Deborah Chow directed
That's
the upcoming
it,
series
yeah.
with scripts by Joby Harold. So
Yeah.
that's their scapegoat, Deborah Chow. So if it turns out crap, they can blame it on her and not,
I mean, it's a brilliant strategy. I mean,
the other minions of the mouse.
Yeah.
So
this is something I wanted to touch on real quick, and I promise I won't try to go down a rabbit hole. But I was thinking about this the other night when I trying to prepare for the show. Like, so they're bringing back Ewan. I call him Ewan, and he probably gets pissed. I don't care. I always say Ewan. So they bring back Ewan. They're bringing back Hayden, the guy that portrayed the role as Owen Lar. Or I'm sorry, Owen Lar.
Yeah.
They're bringing back all these people. Do you feel like they're selling out to the mouse? They need like if you're a true man of the cloth, if you're a true canon, and if you work for George, would you like what are your thoughts? Like, do you think they're like them coming back and doing this? Does that mean they stand for the break in continuity?
I think it's a paycheck. I think it's returning to a role maybe they've wanted to return to for a while, and they're looking at, well, George isn't here, but we can at least get a second shot at this, and who knows, maybe we can have some fun with this. At least that's been some of the word around, is that they're excited to step back into this.
What is your thoughts though? Do you think they're totally like, is it just like are they selling out for a paycheck? Do they want to, is this kind of like a comic book scenario where like the writer is going to write what they want to write, and then hopefully they get it past the editor? And I use that analogy meaning like Kathleen Kennedy's the editor, right?
Right.
So like these actors can
head honcho.
Do what they want. Because there's been things there have been scenarios like that. I was on Twitter and I actually didn't know this. So Robert Downey Jr. I'm not a Marvel guy, but I will bring this up. So Robert Downey Jr. hid snacks around this.
Yeah,
around
he
the scene,
apparently
right?
had some fun on Avengers. I heard.
Yeah. So did you? I don't know if I tagged you in it, but like the blueberry scene, like because
I've heard. Yeah.
So
I've heard
he
about
slipped
that.
stuff in, and it added that extra stuff to like the movie. So like, is this what they're going to hopefully try to do, or do they just sell out? Because heard.
I mean, look at what we heard about when it came to Mark Hamill and his interactions with J.J. Abrams or Ryan Johnson.
Yeah.
He tried to make suggestions. He tried to kind of he tried to give input on his character in particular, what Luke Skywalker would be doing, what he would be, the way he would be, would be essentially, not become such this despondent hermit that's drinking the titty milk.
What do you call titty milk?
So the way he put it was they essentially patted him on the head and sent him away, and it was basically like, we're doing what we want to do. So piss off, wanker.
It's almost like, we hear what you're saying, but we're gonna take it from somebody who actually knows.
It's like it was we hear what you're saying, but we're gonna do this my way. I have my vision. We don't care about what you think, even though Mark Hamill himself has been very involved in extra Star Wars content and learning it, knowing it, and stuff like that. So, although I throw extra shame on him, especially when he voiced Darth Bane in Clone Wars, which was horrible. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, you can only you can kind of hope that they're wanting to do this to have some fun and return to these characters that they maybe loved portraying at one point. But on the other hand, the cynic in me just goes, they're in this for a paycheck. They're needing a little, maybe, I don't know about McGregor or Hayden. I heard Hayden apparently went off to become a farmer. On
Tatooine.
Yeah. But I don't, for some of these people, it might be that like, hey, I'm getting that bump in the limelight for a bit. But the funny thing is like I was saying, Hayden Christensen coming back, he's gonna be in the Darth Vader suit.
As well, I mean, we're just
how are we gonna know that it's Hayden Christensen in the Darth Vader suit? Are they gonna be doing the whole helmet removal constantly?
Well, that's the whole thing. I mean,
anything like that. So
they're gonna have to. You don't make an announcement like that, like, oh, we're bringing Hayden back.
Now, this is the funny thing, right? They've only talked about Hayden Christensen coming back as Darth Vader. We have not heard about James Earl Jones reprising doing the voice.
They've thrown him to the wolves, though. Like they brought
definitely. But it's funny, though, right? That the man that made Darth Vader that giving him that voice. We haven't heard a single thing about it. Now, either they're trying to do it like it's some surprise, but it just comes off as really weird that they haven't announced him at all.
Do you think they have it out for him, or they just haven't, like...
I don't know.
I was thinking about this as well. Like, it's just interesting that you put so much hype on, like, Christensen, Ewan and everything, but, like, you don't talk about, James Earl Jones. To your point.
Right.
I mean, so I don't know.
No, it's a bunch of stupid Hollywood politic crap that goes on. So, it could be any number of things, any number of reasons that they snub people for. They're petty like that. So it could be a multitude of things. I couldn't imagine why, though, considering I know he occasionally returned to voice Vader for Rebels for like the big episodes and stuff, and they did at least do one thing smart in that they tried to use Vader as sparingly as possible.
Yeah.
So that was at least the smart thing. At least when, although they should have done that, especially when they introduced Thrawn, but they threw Thrawn to the wolves too.
Oh, they butchered Thrawn.
Oh, without a doubt.
So, I just want to get your input because I was thinking about that last night. I was like, they're bringing everybody back. I mean, except as far as we know, James Earl Jones. But yeah, I'm just wondering, like, why are they doing it? Like, if you're a true Star Wars fan, if you're a man of the cloth, if you're George, I won't say even loyalist, but I'll say, like, if you believe in, George Lucas content, like, is it kind of hypocritical to come back and do something under Disney, knowing that they have broken continuity over and over again? And this isn't just an opinion. Like, it is a fact. Like, if you think, go fact check me. I'm gonna post this on Facebook, and I'm gonna pray that Facebook tries to fact check me on this continuity, right? But like they do. So like you doing that, I mean, I get everybody needs a paycheck, but I'm saying, like, you know what I mean? I don't know.
No, I know. So I think there was even kind of a story about that when before things were getting signed up for like the Force Awakens and stuff. I think it was like George Lucas met with Hamill and them and kind of sat them down and talked to them about it, and kind of gave a sort of blessing or whatever to do it if they wanted to. Is up to them. Yeah. So I don't think there's that same thing with maybe these actors. I mean, you'd want at least somebody to have some sort of principles. Of being standing by Lucas, what he created, his vision, and not jump on board with what the mouse has been doing to this property and just completely butchering it.
Well, the last thing I'd say, because I know there's people out there that might argue, like, okay, J.A. man, but what about Harrison Ford coming back? Okay, well, my response to that is Harrison wanted to die in Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah,
like, he did not want to do this.
He's wanted to kill Han off for a long time.
The difference between him and everybody else is J.J. Abrams was like, hey, we're going to kill you off. And he couldn't wait to get into The Force Awakens because he wanted this character gone. He wanted to do Indiana Jones. So that would be my argument to like Harrison Ford. Hey, we're thinking about killing off your character. Say less. When do you want me? Can't wait.
You had me kill me.
It's like, I was done with it when I broke my leg on set. He was probably done when he didn't break his leg. I don't think he broke his. I think he crashed his plane and thank God he was okay. But yeah, like
was
so,
that? Yeah,
I think
was that
it
for
was.
Force
But
Awakens?
that'd be my argument to Harrison Ford. Like he's wanted to kill this character off from the get go.
Well,
So.
I remember when that movie first popped off, and I was talking to a coworker, and they were like, "Yeah, something really big happens in it," and I was like, "I don't care about spoilers or whatever," but I was like, "Wait, let me guess, Han dies."
Yeah.
And she's like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
I was like, he finally got his wish.
Finally, after decades of wanting to be killed off, he finally got his wish. So, anyways, that's my tangent.
No, like I said, it's a curious thing, right?
It is, but I mean, like I said, hopefully, I've said this time and time again. Like, you want, as a Star Wars fan, you want to enjoy things that come out that have to do with Star Wars. You want to like new content, but at this point in time, like time after time again, they've proven that you can't.
No.
If you're a man of the cloth, let me retract my statement. If you're a man of the cloth, if you are you love George Lucas content, everything that is supposed to be Star Wars, then I don't try to, I guess, argue against it and prove me wrong. But I can't, on principle, I can't.
No.
So.
No, and have you? I can't remember. Have you gone through? Have you checked out the Kenobi book?
I have it. I started reading it. I got into the first chapter 2 or 3, and then we had talked about what we were going to do in May, so I pulled off. But yeah, I started the first 3, and that's why I have an issue with this whole what do you call it, shtick? Is that your phrase? Yeah, this whole shtick, because you even reading the first couple chapters, you're like, okay, you can tell that obviously he, Obi-Wan is I've got to put his lightsaber away, and it explains that, but I haven't got to the point in the book where he's depressed, he wants to off himself.
No, this is the thing. It culminates in a few moments here or there, but mostly it does kind of get a little bit more towards the end of the book but it's this kind of this periodic thing as he's trying to begin that training to commune and talk to Qui-Gon Jinn. And and kind of his then interactions with Annalene and her family, and he's trying to hold back. He's trying to not be that Jedi anymore. And I also looked at it as him not being that man of action, not being the General Kenobi anymore. But some people just kind of more put it to the point of him just refraining from being a Jedi and helping people out the way he had,
trying to be a normal person.
Yeah, trying to basically be a normal person to stay. Try you can do little things here and there, but for the most part, trying to make himself out to be the weird hermit at a point. So that's where I keep reiterating it anytime people do bring up the Kenobi book by John Jackson Miller. It's they had a template, and especially for doing it for as a series, as a TV series or whatever.
They could have done the whole book into a series.
Exactly, they could have adapted the whole book, maybe found a way for certain inner monologue and stuff like that to be represented. Because now this is kind of they can just do it how they want, essentially. So they can add in extra little things, and not film the same way George did, because we didn't get inner monologues or anything like that from any of the characters.
It's they only have enough money to do 6 episodes within a series.
Yeah, I heard that this is supposed to be 6 episodes.
Yeah,
and I'm like, what?
Or 6 to 7. That's all they can afford.
Well, it's been shrinking. It's been because I think Mando's been 10.
10. Mando is 8 or 10. Yeah, 8 or 10. Book of Boba was, I think, 7.
Yeah, 7 for Book of Boba.
Ahsoka's probably going to be 4.
There's
we can only hope there. Believe
we can only hope it's going to be that short, considering that's believed to be when they're going to be bringing in Thrawn, and they're basically going to be trying to quote unquote adapt the Thrawn trilogy.
But
for Ahsoka, it's are you kidding me?
Yeah, there's not a lot there. which is ironic because like I was reading an article where like Ahsoka is like one of the most beloved characters. And
yeah, she has a big fan base.
Is that a thing? Filoniism?
I'm sure it is.
Yeah.
Filoni's characters. Yeah, I mean, it's another thing where I'm just kind of like, oh boy, here we go.
Yeah. I don't. If they screw up Thrawn, which I already know, I mean, they already did. They did it in Rebels. And again, I guess I can't speak 100% because I've not watched Rebels, nor will I, because I don't want to see them butchering Thrawn, who is, again, one of my top 5 favorite characters. If you haven't read the books, do yourself a service. Go read the books.
Yeah.
They're doing that. I think we talked about last episode. They're doing the Heir to the Empire movie on Disney Plus.
Oh, I think that's what's going to be the Ahsoka show, isn't it?
Is it going to be the Ahsoka? Okay, is it the Ahsoka show, not the Heir to the Empire?
I thought that's what I was hearing was that the whole Ahsoka show was going to be basically them adapting Heir to the Empire.
Then I read the. Okay, then I read it wrong, but
with her and Space Aladdin and all them.
Me and Masood
well, it's funny because they're like bringing back that character, but they're having a completely different actor portray him. Right. When you could just could have had, because I looked him up. I'm like, I looked at the voice actor. Yeah, he could play the part. I don't see why not. And at least then you have consistency there. And I think we talked about this last week too. Like, they could keep that consistency even with certain voice actors because they look the role some of these times. So it's like this would be a perfect time for it.
2 words that Disney, the mouse doesn't understand or know is consistency and continuity. I think you may have actually
they have a real lack of understanding that.
I think you actually coined the phrase, honestly, last week. You talked about consistency and continuity.
I mean, I'm not the only one saying it. I'm
Star Wars, OG Star Wars. Is it which one?
Yeah.
OG Star Wars. I've been following her stuff because I think you follow her, and I think I started following her because you retweeted some of her stuff. But man, she is on a continuity kick right now. With I mean, if anybody is gonna start a war with the mouse, man, I could see her being a forerunner for it because she is not having it. But yeah, I was gonna touch on. Oh, the last thing I was gonna say about this whole Thrawn series, I like to make bets and whatnot, but I promise you, if they basically give credit, if they bring the Marg Sable maneuver into this, for like if they bring it in and they give credit to Ahsoka for this, like they did in the Clone Wars, I'm going to lose my mind. You will be finding another co-host for this show because I'm going to be gone. They did it in Clone Wars.
Let's hope not. Oh, did they? When did they?
Yeah, they pulled the. Yeah, I'll find the episode. But yeah, they used the Marg. I don't think they called it technically the Marg Sable maneuver.
I've forgotten so much of the Clone Wars.
I did. I'll pull it up. I believe it's in the season. It's in one of the seasons, maybe 3 or 4. I don't know. I'll look it up. Don't quote me. But yes, it's the exact maneuver, and I only knew it was the maneuver because I read the book.
Oh, okay. Like I said, I had completely forgotten about that.
Yeah, I'll need a fact check, but yeah, I'm pretty 95% sure. Somebody, I mean, you can tell me if I'm wrong, but Thrawn, I believe, was the inventor of the Marg Sable, or adapted it at least. I don't think Ahsoka, a 16-year-old, came up with it.
Yeah, because he kind of demonstrates the maneuver in the first beginning of the book.
Yeah,
if I remember right.
Yes.
So,
yeah, 100%.
Okay, so should we get into our next topic?
Yeah. Yes.
All right, so since we were going into Mandalorian episode 4, before we really jumped into it, I thought we would just kind of get the elephant out of the room. However you want to put it.
Yeah.
Address our even though this happened, I don't know, a year or so ago at this point.
Yeah. Point is, it should never have happened.
No, it was a whole it was a bunch of stupid drama bullshit that, culminated in a lot of stupid. I mean, for the person, they might have made out better. I don't know. Anyways, it has to do with the whole Gina Carano being fired by Disney and all that whole. Yeah, I thought the whole situation was stupid. I mean, from everything that she kept talking about was that, from the first instance of the beep bop boop, she talked to, what was it? She said she talked to Pedro Pascal to get informed of the situation. But then, what's funny is that, she did what was the whole final culmination was her sharing on Instagram of another person's post, basically alluding to the whole the power of government and how it can turn its citizens against each other, and it was kind of comparing to what had gone on with. I'm trying because I know YouTube's kind of goofy at times, but the whole COVID thing, it was the masked versus the unmasked, and how long that went on for, and that was kind of her whole point. And I have that post right here.
Surprised you're still able to find it.
Bounding into Comics keeps all their articles, so
nice.
And I happen to have located it. So the post that she shared was this person saying, because this was going to Nazi Germany, World War II, Nazi Germany. Jews were beaten in the streets, not by Nazi soldiers, but by their neighbors, even by children. Quote, because history is edited, most people today don't realize that to get to the point where Nazi soldiers could easily round up thousands of Jews, the government first made their own neighbors hate them simply for being Jews. How is that any different from hating someone for their political views? And that was basically it. It was part of that COVID situation, part of the whole political, because Lord knows we can't just be civil anymore, of course.
No.
Everything has to get inflamed. And that was just kind of her point. She was kind of like, chill the hell out.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to be thinking different. That's, our individual rights. But what was funny was that she gets this whole heat on her for just merely, trying to make that point. But we also had Pedro Pascal, co-star, main star of Mandalorian, kind of do the big attack on half the country.
Yeah.
With this tweet of, and thanks to my nerdy home that had it, she kept it around and shared it from also. So she's, and this tweet from her, it was, oh wow. So Pedro Pascal is trying to hide his hate by deleting this pic from his Instagram after Ryan Cannell made a video talking about it. The internet is forever. Sorry, check it out. And it says, for anybody that's not seeing this and listening, it's a picture. It says losers in 1865 has the Confederate flag. Losers in 1945, the Nazi flag. Losers in 2020, and it has the Make America Great Again red cap.
Yeah.
And yet he's still happily employed and doing his thing. And, Gina Carano got into the whole, and you could, Daily Caller had her interview up about, and she explains it all there. If you want more information, go to that, or just check out Bounding into Comics. They have all the articles too. But I mean, they were kind of running her through the ringer.
Yeah.
All for, having an opinion on something. And yet we all know the hypocrisy of these people at this point. If you aren't, that's fine. You can, or not, it's that hope that, some people would wake up and kind of see the bullshit in the air.
Yeah.
But sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying this. I was just going to throw this out there, and I know this is cancel culture at its finest. Like,
oh, it absolutely was.
Carano, if I'm butchering her name, I apologize. But being a conservative woman
Well, this is the funny thing, right? She hasn't actually outright
Said that
stated
she's
that
conservative.
she's right, left,
Right.
or center. It's just she just was kind of sharing some thoughts that she was having.
So I guess it's better. I guess better put, what she had said aligns with those who may align with the right or whatever. But this is perfect, just cancel culture. Like,
yeah,
she doesn't.
They
she
didn't
doesn't
like
fall,
her.
Yeah, 100%. She didn't fall in line.
I mean, the funny thing is too is that, and like it's been emphasized even more and more now. It's like this is all coming from Twitter weirdos. And as anybody with some sense knows that, Twitter isn't a real place to be taken seriously, or at least it shouldn't be.
It's a war.
But unfortunately, it is, because that's where the mob really gets whipped up, and this is where a lot of the whole cancel culture sort of stuff stems from.
Yeah,
is all these people gathering together, and
to quote Elon Musk, Twitter's a war zone. So if you're going to be on it, you better be prepared to play.
With this whole situation and her, I just had to. The one thing that kind of did kick in the back of my brain is like, and that I find the whole situation to be absolute bullshit. I already said that.
Oh, yeah.
But part of it too, I'm kind of like, but you had to kind of known what you're walking into with these people, though, right? I mean, I couldn't imagine I don't think she's. I don't know if she's older than me or not. But I couldn't imagine being so naive and going into this, and that I think these people would be, so accepting. I know she apparently had she was brought. From what I understand, she was brought in by Favreau.
Yeah,
and I mean, there's been nothing but
Favreau to come to her defense.
Well, that was when everything was going down. That's what a lot of people were waiting for. They were waiting for the other castmates to step up, say something in her defense, because what's come out after the fact is there have been some of the cast members that said, we absolutely loved working with her. But where was that when all this shit was going? Where was having her back on this? And that's where I'm just kind of like, I just kind of wonder. It'd be my question to her. It's like, okay, when you were going into all this, going to work for the mouse, was there ever anything that could have been in the back of your brain going, you know what, if I speak my mind around these people, or any kind of warning signs, it's like, these people could give me the ass kicking of a lifetime.
They're also thinking of it like this. So like, even if she didn't know it, or maybe she did and she just didn't think that they would ever because we live in a day and age in this culture that you have to be accepting. Well, it's a double standard. Like, we have to be accepting of everybody, unless you're conservative Christian, whatever, conservative Christian. I don't. She hasn't said what she believes, but I'm just saying, like,
no. There's the target on the back for anybody that is under. I mean, look at what they've done to Tim Allen, for example. He's on the right, and I mean they tried canceling his show once or twice already from when he had Last Man Standing, and they even kept him out of reprising his voice role for Buzz Lightyear for the new show that they're doing. They got what's his name? The guy that plays Captain America.
Oh, Ryan Evans.
Chris Evans. Yeah, Chris Evans. So there's been that target on the back. So
but I also just think about it like this: like, how much, like, with her leaving, how much damage how much of a blow did Disney take from her actually leaving or getting fired?
From her getting the axe, it definitely it canceled a few things. I believe that was her. She was supposed to be the one leading the Republic. Oh, what was it called? It was something about like the New Republic. I forgot all the stupid little projects that they had going at the time. Is it supposed to be like New Republic soldiers or something like that?
Yeah. But do you think them firing her? Do you think that Disney firing her for having a belief.
I think that it canceled that show, and then it kind of, I think, halted probably Mandalorian season 3. It might have been what's pushed that back, besides the whole COVID crap.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'd say there's probably a lot of mitigating factors to it, but I mean, yeah, her getting the can was probably another thing to it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, good on her, and good on Ben Shapiro and Daily Wire. Shameless plug for coming to her kind of aid and rescue. But yeah, I mean, I know how you feel. I'm just saying though, like, somebody came to her defense. So is the point I'm trying to make.
No, yeah, that absolutely. I can only
when nobody
is genuine, and so I mean,
saying, "Oh yeah, we like working with her." That's not coming to somebody's defense.
No, not on that front. Absolutely not. No, that was, like I said, that was just a complete and utter shit show.
Yeah,
and
so
it definitely. I think I can only hope that, like I said, I do wonder going into it, just a level of naivete she might have had. I don't know. I would love to ask. That'd be an interesting.
Do you think she was naive? Do you think that she was naive, or do you think?
I don't know if she. Because I mean, I'll say, even for myself, at a point, there was a time when I wasn't paying attention to any of this garbage.
Right.
And then I got alerted to it and started following a lot of what's been going on in between, mainly for me, the gaming industry and what was going on with that.
Right.
So, I mean, I'll say I kind of had my head in the sand for quite a while, but
a little bit about
it's been ramped up to 11 in the last, from the last 4 or 5 years now.
Right.
And I just couldn't see how you wouldn't have seen some of this maybe coming, or you kind of have to walk on eggshells. I mean, Jesus, I have to walk on eggshells at work, for God's sakes.
No, I know. I just wonder if it's maybe like she just never thought that Disney being such a, I'm just going to say, and I don't care, a liberal, progressive, inclusive, company, that maybe she thought that, well, if they're going to be tolerant of everybody else's worldview, then they should be in mine. Yeah, maybe that was the case. I agree with you.
Maybe. Because then it just seemed.
If you're listening, join the show. Get in contact with us. We'd love to have you on.
Oh no, that would help our channel.
Right.
But and then I'm like, again, like I already said, I'm a cynical bastard. I am.
No,
and
what?
Then,
what are you talking about?
I know, right?
How dare you?
But then the switch over. Oh, hey, I'm now working with Shapiro, and we're gonna be making a movie together. I was kind of like, was this a setup?
Well,
it feels a little weird.
Well, I didn't know they.
I don't know.
Yeah,
like
I don't know the whole movie thing. I didn't know anything about that.
I blame what I was raised on, which was to question everything. Or question authority, and then I took it to questioning everything.
You don't question authority. What are you talking about? No, I agree.
I don't know. It would be like it would, and I didn't.
So let's do this. I want you touched on something really, really good, and I want to get your honest opinion. So do you feel like she was naive? Do you think she was like, screw Disney, I'm going to take a chance, I'm going to say what I want to say because that's our freedom here?
Yeah.
Like, what are your thoughts?
From some of the interviews that she's done, or not some interviews, but I think it was from the interview she did with Shapiro, was that, she was just talking about kind of coming into her own, feeling a little more motivated, wanting to speak out, speak her mind a little more, and it kind of with that political sphere too.
Again, it backfired.
She was kind of learning things, and she just happened to step on a different side of things than the rest of the people she was working with. So, yeah. I mean, it's a, without talking to the person directly, you can't really know. And like it's still, an actor. That's also where my skepticism, my cynicism
we need to get on the Daily Wire website and see if she has a contact, like an email or something, and get her on the show. Because I'm very curious to see, like, if she was just like, screw Disney. I don't care. I'm gonna exercise my.
This is
my
one
right.
way to. This is one hell of a way to get out of it.
I mean, yeah.
Well, no, I mean, there's been some articles too that's popped up recently of like some as your word shyster shyster journos taking some late shots at her and her having to come in and correct the record a few times. So yeah, I mean,
find it also very interesting that Kathleen Kennedy, who is
she got blasted. She got
I
put
don't
on
want to
blast
say
because
a self-professed feminist, but
she is, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, let's just speak bluntly. Like who is
she was
feminist.
the one that came out with the whole force is female crap.
Yeah, okay. Well, so we're gonna speak bluntly. Yeah. Kathleen Kennedy, who is a feminist, who ultimately probably put the stamp of approval on firing her, I would assume.
Absolutely.
Right?
She makes the final decisions around that. Well, that was what, like I said, this was the funniest thing is that whole firing and in the struggle that was described, the Zoom call struggle session that they wanted to do. They were putting her in this. They were putting Gina Carano in that position and everything, and then, then later after the fact, after firing her, Kathleen Kennedy does some video of the propping up and representation of women in the media and stuff like that. And everybody was like, what the hell? You just dragged a woman. You just dragged somebody through the coals, a woman, no less. And
you literally
dragged
her through the streets, and now you have the audacity to say what you just said. Like,
yeah, it's just more their own hypocrisy, which is this. Again, I only hope that more people are witnessing it and going, oh, this is what's been going on for forever. Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
You can only hope.
Kathleen Kennedy, if you're watching this show or listening, or you have any of your minions, you're a shyster.
Oh, if only we were so important.
Well, that's fine. I still enjoy.
Hey, absolutely, by all means. No. So yeah, that was that whole drama.
Yeah,
and
and honestly, I will say this, and I don't care. But she was probably the only good thing about the Mandalorian for
Okay, now let's segue into the show.
Okay,
into Mandalorian.
So many notes, 4 pages.
Oh, you got me beat.
How many do you have?
I
have 3.
Let's see. 1, 2. I also have 3 pages.
Okay, so we're about even.
Technically.
Great minds think alike. I think that we at most times match each other with how many notes we take. Because I can watch Mandalorian or whatever I watch.
This week I was really bad. This week I'll admit I took forever to find. I finally watched the episode this morning. I made sure I got up. I got up a little extra. I got up a little extra early, just so I could make sure before heading off to work, I could watch this episode, because this week I was just I'd gotten the
Last of the Jedi.
Well, yeah, I got the books Last of the Jedi, which before we jump in the full Last of the Jedi, which I was told. But I was watching OG Star Wars Alora, her coffee chat live stream. It was like a couple weeks ago, and she was, I think it was either last week or a couple weeks, I forget which. I think it was last week's though. But she was talking about the extra lore for Obi-Wan Kenobi, and I have one more book that's on the way, but
you have to share it with me.
Yeah, I'll let you know. But she was talking about the series called The Last of the Jedi, and it's a young adult book, but it's again adding more, basically probably what's going to be happening in this show a bit.
Yeah,
but it's just more of that content of what kind of takes place,
and it is Legends, correct?
Yes, this is Legends material. I wouldn't have.
No, I know. It's just interesting because I was actually looking to buy the book.
She wouldn't have mentioned it if it was the mouse.
Right.
So, no, yeah, Last of the Jedi is definitely. I got to start cracking into this so we can be ready for.
No, I know. I just bought book 1.
So I'm looking forward to it for sure, and that it's got her stamp of approval. I'll go with it, and it's got they're basically all those people that I follow too. They're like, yeah. So, I forgot what point I was making other than shilling that book.
That's a shameless plug.
Shameless plug. Yeah. So, on to
this. This is probably
episode.
just my.
Oh yeah. I remember now because I was talking. Yeah. So I'd gotten those books in, of course, and then I had gotten on my days off. I got the Jurassic World 2 Park Builder on PC, and so I was just having fun playing that the whole time. And then the trailer dropped, the Kenobi trailer dropped, the Obi-Wan Kenobi show trailer dropped, which you alerted me to.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, that's a thing now. So I was checking that out, of course, and then I was checking everyone's responses, and I kind of got wrapped up looking at all that, and I had completely forgotten to start watching this episode until this morning.
Yeah, I got off work early this morning and jumped right into it because I was like, normally I try to do it Wednesday. Give me a couple days to get prepared and everything, but
I try to do it on my days off that I have, but like I just completely like I said.
Let's be honest. Let's just be honest. This is just a terrible episode. So I just really wanted to just.
There's a lot of issues.
With that being said, I think we just jump right in. Chapter 4 called Sanctuary.
Yeah, this so. I mean, this is and I this is gonna be one of my notes, but it was anyway. But first, before I get to that part, so basically the opening shot too, and this is what I said was, here's where they got their blue shrimp for the Galactic Star Cruiser. Now it all makes sense. Because that was like the first shot was all that blue krill shrimp or whatever the heck they were harvesting. I'm like, oh, because I remember seeing people post a bunch of the pictures of the food and there was blue shrimp, and I can only imagine what kind of what they probably use, some weird food dye or something. And I'm like, that can't be good. But I'm like, oh, now it makes sense that they had blue shrimp. Okay. And then I also made a comment about one of my notes was, man, those one-eyed frogs are really spread across the galaxy. I don't know how these frogs are on so many gosh darn planets, but man, they get around.
I had right out of the gate, we had the recap scene, and I put ridiculous frog catching scene. Like I don't get it, and then jump down to basket fishing interrupted by neighborhood Cluntunians wanting basket fish.
I laughed because they were setting up the whole shot, right? Yeah, and I was like, because it had the kind of stomping. I'm like, Godzilla? No, lasers being. I said Godzilla. No, lasers being fired. Mecha Godzilla? Because I'm just trying to have any kind of fun with this episode. This is like, oh god. And I said, no, bunch of pug-looking, dog-faced aliens raiding the village. That's basically what they looked like to me, the pug-faced dog men.
I think I called them dog gang. I think I wrote mother runs to save child from dog-faced gang. Mother and daughter. This is where I just got mad. All right. So I said, mother and daughter take refuge in pond underneath a very visible basket.
That wasn't
you can literally
moving.
See them.
Wasn't moving.
Yeah.
Other than maybe with the water, but otherwise it was staying right in place.
It's like you could literally see them inside the basket as these dog face Cluntunians, whatever. I wrote dog.
Did they even give them a name other than calling them bandits or whatever?
I think the race they're Cluntunian. The Cluntunian, I think, is technically their race. But then I put a dog face gang pillaging for basket fish.
I mean, that's what they were raiding for the krill shrimp.
But wait, it gets better. Take out the droid because it poses the biggest threat.
So then, I mean, that was the whole opening scene, and I was like, And my note was, who are they going to call for help? The A-Team. No, wait, Mando.
Yeah.
It would have been better with the A-Team.
I know, right? I put Dogface Gang sets off to enjoy Scooby snacks and basket fish.
Well, them Scooby snacks do get that.
I mean, they are
itch,
good.
right?
They are good. I don't know if you've had them. They're probably better than Milk Bones, honestly.
Probably. And better any of the food that they serve on the Galactic Star Cruiser.
Anything.
And then it cuts to, of course, Mando on the ship. I said, Grogu hitting random buttons, is told not to do so, just to be an ass, hits another button that messes with the ship a little more, making Mando grab him in his arms to stop him because he was being a little shit.
Yeah, this scene is just stupid. Like this whole episode,
it was just kind of like that setup for, because then it's like he's looking for planets for them to hide out on. Right. So that was like another thing that I made the note of was Mando finds remote planet to hide out on, hopes for a couple of months, calls Grogu accurately a little womp rat. Ha.
I said ADHD child, and I can say this because I have ADHD. So for those who might think, you're insensitive, Jay Hitman. No, I have ADD and ADHD and OCD. So try to top me.
Dang,
ADHD
get all
child,
the alphabet.
Yeah, right. ADHD child pressing everything within reach, 3 buttons. I said, ADHD child gets told to stop touching my buttons. ADHD child says, watch me press your buttons. And then touching moment between Mando and the little womp rat.
Yeah, I said Mando tries to lay down the law on Grogu, telling him to stay. Little bastard doesn't listen, and man, he can move when he really wants to. It seems because, like, boom, he was right there at his feet when he was leaving.
And I had to do this for Fractured Filter. I said ADHD child loves metal balls. Like he's obsessed with metal balls.
He didn't get to play with them this time.
Did you? I want to know what your notes were for this next scene because this next scene is just stupid. Oh well, you may have already. I'll just read mine and see if you already covered it. But Mando telling the womp rat to stay.
That was when he. My note was Mando tries to lay down the law and Grogu telling him to stay.
So stay here. Like
stay here. Maybe he should have included the back of his hand.
Here's a joke. Here's a joke for you. Mando womp rat walk into a cantina.
Okay.
Nothing
Stupid.
Else. Yeah, nothing else. That's what we got.
He walks into the barn, and I made the point. Grogu gets hissed at by a cat-looking thing that I think was introduced in Star Wars Rebels. Don't remember exactly. More Filoni creations dropping around to shrink the galaxy.
Man,
I'm pretty sure that's where I first saw that thing.
That was a lot better than mine. I just put Womp Rat almost gets taken out by the Cheshire Cat.
Yeah,
wish he would have.
At least that's a better reference.
Well, it looked like the freaking Cheshire Cat.
Kind of does, yeah. And then I said because I was, they hadn't quite introduced Cara Dune yet, so I just wrote chick with rebellion tattoo. Yeah, not trying to hide it.
Yeah,
it's right there on her face. And then my note was then going into it, Mando tries to pay for information. I don't know if the waitress got it or not. Then when the woman left, Mando tosses more coin to the barmaid to watch after Grogu as he storms out. Because all he was ordering was trying to first order the bone broth for Grogu. And then, nothing for him, but then he tries to get some information. I didn't think the lady was too up on the cues that he was trying to go for.
100%. I put Mando dialogue with waitress, and then I just put waitress hires waitress as a womp rat sitter.
Yeah.
This is where I started having fun with it. So I had jumped down after Mando leaves. I said Mando on the hunt for future ex-wife. And I said Mando getting tagged by future ex-wife, or getting tagged by future ex-wife.
Yeah, mine was Mando using predator vision to hunt the woman down. Gets trapped. Battle ensues. For the most part, Mando gets his ass kicked.
See, that's a lot better, man. A lot better.
Like, I mean, I get it. You're introducing a new character. and you want to build them up, but at the same time, I'm sorry. Well, I'm not. Well,
No, you're not.
Sorry.
Don't say
No, I'm
you're
not.
sorry.
No, because you're you're emasculating your character.
Yeah.
There's gonna be a strength difference between men and women. I get that she got the jump on him, fine, but that should have been kind of the end of it. And especially she was just a rebel shock trooper or whatever.
Yeah.
They didn't have a whole lot of training.
No.
And again, maybe I'm putting too much emphasis on the Mandalorians and stuff like that because of what I know of them.
No,
and
they're
it could be very different for this, but he was taken in as a kid. She joined up probably when she was in her adult life. He was taken in from a kid, trained to be a Mandalorian, to be a bounty hunter. His skill set should be much more than hers. So add that on top of the fact that, he's a dude. He's going to have a bit of a strength advantage over her.
Not to mention he's got his punches are
his punches are going to pack a little more punch, and especially the fact that he's wearing that goddamn armor.
I was going to say the Beskar in itself probably weighs a freaking ton.
It has to weigh
get
something,
momentum
right?
behind a punch, and you're wearing all that weight.
Yeah.
I think it was just showing that women can this character.
If she had the Force, okay. If she was a Terrace Kasi master or something, okay. But none of that.
No, she's a shock trooper for the rebellion.
Yeah, from the rebellion era. And that was then my next point was like after ends in a quote unquote draw as they each point a gun at each other, and Grogu just happens to show up sipping on soup.
Yeah.
And then she's giving her rundown of events, was apparently part of the teams at Endor. Small galaxy this is, and then now she's in early retirement, as she put it.
Yeah.
So I just thought it's funny how they were just kind of doing this info dump with her. It's like, okay, she spills the beans pretty quick.
Yeah. No, I'm telling you, future ex-wife, man.
But I mean, I know
she's playing the game, but
she's playing
yeah.
Well, that's kind of the funny thing. It seemed like there might have been stuff going on between the two, but
yeah, I'm telling you that. Why do you think I chose future ex-wife?
So, especially with later seasons and stuff, it's like okay, there seems like there's something going, but now firings and crap. But that the reason why she quote unquote went so hard on him was because she thought Mando had a fob on her. And I said, well, here's my notes. Thought Mando had a fob on her, and that's why she quote unquote went so hard on him. I said, no, Mando's just a bitch.
Yeah. Like,
and then she apparently claims dibs on the village, so Mando has to get going.
So stupid. So I'll go like my notes. So I put Womp Rat sipping on bone tea. Kermit does it better, but that's none of my business. And then combo with Mando's future ex-wife. I didn't really. The whole thing was irritating, so I didn't. Make a lot of notes,
I was paying half attention.
I was trying to understand
some of the. I only picked up on the team at Endor.
Yeah, I jumped down to Mando tinkering with ship. 2 village idiots tried to employ Mando's services. Mando agrees upon hearing they reside in BFE.
Yeah, I was a little. I just said some villagers recognize Mando as a Mandalorian and ask him for his help with the raiders, but he tells them they don't have enough for the job. Once they make it known that they have to head back to the middle of nowhere, then Mando's ears start to work.
Nowhere
he's interested.
Yeah. I jumped down to Mando wants round 2 with future ex-wife. Get a room.
Yeah, that was as Mando learns they have lodging and village they're in. Takes the credits to Cara Dune and says ready for round 2. So I think I was a little bit on that page of he wants to.
Dude, he's playing the game, man. Like he's playing something.
Something all right.
Yeah, I jumped down to arrival at BFE.
Well, okay, now this was a point that I made. Because when they're on the little
whatever
cart,
you call it,
little cart going to the village. My note was even she dismisses the funds as quote unquote lunch money not such the righteous rebel soldier anymore, eh? That New Republic not pay so well, eh?
Yeah.
100%. Because it's like, okay, but I thought you were, part of the rebellion, fighting the Empire.
She's in retirement now.
I guess she's in retirement, but I guess none of that stuck around. None of that righteousness stuck in her.
No, not when you go into retirement.
Huh?
Yeah, everything drops when you retire.
Apparently. So was it legitimate that she was that angry at the Empire, or was this because
I mean, angry enough to where she has a rebellion tattoo?
What was her mom and dad ardent Empire supporters? They were all behind Sheev. I mean, come on, what was the big deal?
Where's Sheev in this, man? Come back. It'd been so much better if she was back.
No, he fell down the damn pit. He's dead.
Well, it depends on which canon you're following.
I know. See, this is why I don't always like the Dark Empire.
Are we talking about the clone Sheev or the I'm going to survive off a metal spine Sheev?
Metal. Oh boy.
Then that's what's so stupid. Like people make the argument. Well, no, you have two like they try to say. Well, there's two cannons. It's like no, there's not two cannons. Well, yes, there is because Disney now owns it. Like,
saw it.
No, you schmuck. It's not canon. You don't get to just make up stuff and then call it canon. So what's so irritating about it?
No, we properly call it fan fiction.
Right. It's very interesting. And then when you rob something and then try to call it your own, right. But it's identical to what Lucas created. Oh God, we can go down a rabbit hole. Anyways, yeah, I get very passionate about this. Like I get in not physical fights, but I get into, I'll just laugh for a better term, constructive conversations with people around.
I definitely knew we had to get this kicked off because I know how passionate you are.
If we ever get to the point where we do something about the Clone Wars, I want to touch on the whole. I told you the story about the girl in the break room was talking about Bo-Katan and how Bo-Katan always had the Darksaber and how this person, Mandalore wasn't a planet. Or right. Mandalore wasn't a planet. It was just a title.
Yeah.
And then
Mandalore was a planet. Yeah.
I told you this, and I'm surprised I didn't get a charge that night for making somebody cry. But anyway, so we need to talk about this later, maybe on a future show, because there's just a stupidity. If you're going to argue something, have the facts, but don't get all butthurt.
Well, everyone has their different facts for this stuff now, thanks to the
everybody has their own truth, but that's not that. No, like,
but their truth can be false. So
100%. But like when you present the facts. Like when you present the facts, like, well, no, Mandalore is a title and it's also a planet, and Boba Fett was actually Mandalore. No, he wasn't.
Yeah,
he wasn't even a clone. I'm sorry, what? He wasn't a what?
Makes me sad. I don't work the night shift anymore. Sometimes
you should. You did a couple times, but anyways,
especially to be there for some of those conversations.
Oh, I wish
you seem to get into it, man.
I do, and I'm like, where?
And I'm like,
filter.
How am I not here for this?
I know, and I'm like, and then I want to call you, but it's like, where is he? I need fractured filter. Because they're like, well, it's just you. That's just what you feel. I'm like, no, it's not
wrong.
But then I feel like, I'm like, you know what? You don't even deserve to come on the show. You don't even deserve it. But then part of me wants to because I just want to eviscerate them.
Oh boy. Okay.
Beat you with legend books. Yeah, back to the show. Sorry. That's our rant for the day. Back to the show. Arrival at BFG. I put
what was it? Self-righteousness. Bunch of kids greet Mando and Cara Dune and act like the Spurgs in real life and fawn over Grogu. And then it's just Mando's getting settled in the what they said it was like a farm hut or something like that, or barn. I think they said it was like a barn. But Mando spooks a little girl that was creeping up on him.
Oh yeah. This is where I started having fun with my notes. I put after arrival at BFE, I said Mando meets potential future ex-wife number 2.
2? Yeah.
Yeah. So
that was definitely going on.
I said Mando about sends Winta into the next Winta. Because that's her name. Thought that was fun.
I heard the name. I meant to write it down, but I did not. I didn't care. Because this is all transitory. That's good.
Well, I was gonna say he was about to send her to space, but I thought it'd be more funny to more accurately put that he's gonna send her to the next winter.
Nice.
And then new future ex-wife brings food. Child asks to feed the child, which is weird.
I thought that too. I was like, after a small passage of time, the little girl and her mother come back, and little girl wants to feed Grogu. What?
Yeah, weird.
I was like, okay, and then asks play with the little shit. Careful, he might eat you.
Yeah, it's a babbling womp rat off to play with other womp rats.
Yeah,
exactly. This is where This is where I lost it. Well, yeah, we're getting around this area. So I put.
Go ahead.
No, I want you to go. I'm curious to see what
my next note was, because they're kind of having a little dialogue between each other. Mom asks about Mando and his helmet and taking it off in front of other people. He says how he was just a little kid since always wearing that helmet. And so, of course, then she eventually leaves, and it's like, oh, he takes off his helmet right in front of an open window?
Yeah.
So that's okay. He's technically taking the helmet off in front of all of them, right? Because it's an open window; they can technically see him, right?
I have a theory that
unless his head just happens
to
be cut off by the top of the window or something, even though he seems to be looking out. So
I have a theory on this. Future ex-wife, new future ex-wife number 2 is the armorist. Asking him if he's ever you never take off your helmet. Why does the armorist ask so many questions about that helmet? Have you ever taken off your helmet? No.
She really likes to make sure these motherfuckers are keeping their helmet on.
What if Amora, whatever her name is, what if she's the armorist?
Well, then she can travel pretty dang quick. And
I
somehow knows where Mando's going to go.
It's a stupid theory. It's probably not true, but I'm like, why?
I was just questioning him about the helmet. That's
I know, but I put new future ex-wife asks about the helmet. Get a better pickup line. And this is where I absolutely lost my mind. I said Mando removes helmet in the clear line of sight of others.
Exactly.
Question mark. This is not the way.
Yeah, but this is the way.
Yeah. Not the way. And then we jump down to wooded scene with Mando's old future ex-wife. Sees Bigfoot's footprint, broken branches, question mark, must have had too much Spatka. Spatka? Is that what they called it?
I don't know.
This shtick, this beer, whatever it's called.
I said Mando and Cara Dune begin to investigate the site. She identifies that it wasn't Godzilla, but an ATST that somehow these goons got a hold of.
Okay.
Magic.
I know. I don't know how we got time. We're only at hour 50. Where did they get an ATST and how did they transport this thing?
I'm like, I don't know how the hell these guys managed to get their hands on an Imperial ATST.
The argument to be made, I guess, like the Empire is dead or it's gone. Clearly,
well, I guess it could have been. But the thing was it wasn't implied that there was an abandoned Imperial base on this planet.
No, so where
they could have gotten their hands on this thing. There was no crash. Yeah, there was no rubble or crash Star Destroyer or anything like that. It was just.
This is the issue I have with Disney producing that. Like if you're going to put something like this into a show, if you're gonna just from a consistency and just to explain content, right? The context and where did this come from? You pull an AT&T Imperial, and then they called it, which is kind of interesting. They called it an Imperial Walker. Isn't the AT-AT reference as the Imperial Walker? I'm almost positive because in Empire Strikes Back.
Sorry, say again.
So in the show, I'll find out what the timestamp, but Cara Dune, I believe, calls it an Imperial Walker. It's not an Imperial Walker.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. I've heard it. I think I remember at one point. I remember it got referenced as a chicken walker at one point.
Yeah,
way
the
back in the day.
AT-AT is the Imperial Walker, not the ATST.
Well, I think it could be implied for both. It's just this instance.
Oh, how dare you defend them? No, it is an AT-AT.
Okay, fine. I'll go with you. Jeez.
No, but I mean here's the thing. Let's just like, have you heard it? Because I've always been under the impression that the AT-AT, and again, there's other people like, are you making a big deal? Yeah, I'm making a big deal of this. Like, you calling it ATST and Imperial Walker. It's not Imperial Walker. It's AT-AT. Get it straight. But like, have you heard it called an Imperial Walker?
I'm gonna, instead of just having it on in the background, I'll have to really pay attention and rewatch the original trilogy. Otherwise, I think they might have only generalized it as, Imperial Walkers are coming. And they were referring to both the ATSTs and the AT-ATs in Empire Strikes Back. But I could be wrong on that.
I don't think there was there ATSTs in the okay, yeah, Hoth.
Pretty sure
there was the ATST. Okay.
Unless I'm thinking of the Shadows of the Empire game, which is very
I always
possible.
was under the impression that Imperial Walker was ATST. AT-AT. I apologize, but I'm making a probably big deal out of it. Whatever, it's fine. Where do we go? Okay. So I had put we cut to the scene where Mando's old
they're confronting
ex-wife.
the village.
I called her a real crowd pleaser, not. Mando decides to teach them to fight.
Yeah, I made the point of Cara Dune on fear of the Walker, tells them they have to leave and get out. Seen one take out a whole company of soldiers. Yeah, a ragtag band of terrorists aren't organized enough to take out an ATST. Let's face it, the rebels were terrorists.
You're not as good as Ewoks. Maybe you should have learned from the Ewoks.
They apparently knew how to crush it. That is some warped stuff right there. So when you rewatch Return of the Jedi and you see that ATST get freaking sandwiched
by the logs, yeah.
There's at least two pilots in there, as we saw Chewbacca take him out. One of the walkers, he took him
Bad
out.
day.
There's two guys. I got smashed.
Yeah.
Oof. But yeah, it was she's ass scared as hell of the thing. But after the villagers protest and say they are willing to fight for their village, Mando decides to renege and train them up to be ready to take on the bandits and the ATSTs.
A lot better than mine. I just put Mando decides to help teach them to fight. Villagers setting their booby traps, and then as this progresses, I had to put this in here. I said we have Li Shang conducting "I'll make a man out of you" Mulan moment.
And isn't it funny that the mom was the best shooter of the whole whole village?
This is very this is ironic that, like, I wish I had I was trying to find that scene, the stick scene where they're going, ha! Because I wanted to send it to you last night. I couldn't find it. And Disney, you can't screenshot their stuff for, I guess, copyright. It's copyright laws or whatever. But it's just interesting. Yes. It could be a coincidence, but it's just interesting that, like, that fight scene almost looked kind of identical to Mulan. Just, them plugging there.
It wouldn't surprise me none.
Anyways, then
I don't take much, and since I just happened to see that it was Bryce Dallas Howard that directed this episode, it's not surprising me the laziness.
Yeah, it's very lazy. And I just put this stunning range practice.
Yeah, stunning and brave.
Stunning how she was hitting every single target with.
Yeah, I had the notes. They talk about building traps and the likes. And then start with the training montage and shooting practices. Cara Dune handling the melee training, Mando the target practice. And then seems to be something developing between, Mando and ex-wife number 2.
Thank you so much for referencing her as ex-wife number 2.
So now, this was one of my big problems with this episode when I first watched it, when it first was out.
Is it the next scene?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, as my notes I have written down, Mando and Cara Dune sneaking into the base camp and take out 2 of the goons. Why don't they go for the ATST or just take them all out? Because they were clearly very sneakily going through that place. And I'm just like, you beeline for this tent, but why not stalk around a little more? And I thought they did at first, but rewatching this episode, I was like, oh.
No,
I completely misremembered this.
They pulled the whole, and yeah.
I'm just like, what? You know that they have an ATST. Go for it.
No. They pulled the
you could have. They were all being basically drunken idiots in their camp, and you had the perfect opportunity to circumvent a lot of your problems and go for that. Go for that freaking walker. You could have done it.
No. Instead,
Why
they pull
not?
an Anakin and go. They pull an Anakin and go in the back. They enter from the back. They sneak in from the back instead of going for the ATST, which would have been the smart move. And you would have thought that Mando, I don't know, being trained as probably a pretty profound tactician and expert in strategizing, would, I don't know, maybe think about taking the ATST. But no, you got to go in and these were my notes. Mando, old future ex-wife, taking the dogs out. No holds barred tag team match. Ends with fireworks.
So I made the point of, they plant the bombs in the tent and then beat up a group of more goons, and then more come to attack them. Cara Dune beats up more of the goons than Mando.
Yeah. Well, why didn't they use that?
He was having trouble with one of them. She was like beating the hell out of like 5 or 6 of them at once.
Yeah. Listen, but you got to do.
Dude, really?
You have to demasculinize him. Is that what you said? Demasculinize?
Emasculate him. Emasculate him, and just
you have to. You have
make
to
him look like a bitch.
Yeah. Well, you can't. Yeah, you can't have Mando taking out more guys than the girl, because that would be feminine. That'd be sexist.
Look at how Boba Fett got treated.
Yeah,
until the final episode when he was finally allowed to apparently do something.
But this is where I lost my mind. So you touched on this a couple of seconds ago. So he magically, takes the miniature thermal detonator, whatever you want to call it, and he sticks it inside, right?
Yeah.
The next scene where I literally threw my phone at my TV. Lovebirds come face to face with the ATST.
No, so you know what? No. You know what was hilarious? He shoots the whole, like he shoots up that part of the tent or whatever they're in, the structure. It looked like a tent to me, but apparently that wall was solid. But he shoots it up, and then Cara Dune does the Kool-Aid Man busting through the wall.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I said
that. What the hell is this?
The Juggernaut from Marvel. Was it Juggernaut? What's his name?
I'm the Juggernaut, bitch.
Yeah, runs through it.
He did shoot it up first to make it accessible to break down, I guess, but I just laughed so hard when I
Can we establish the fact that this was the actual tent, though? It looked like a tent.
It looked like a tent, but apparently there was some solid enough walling in that place that they were like, oh, we're cornered. Boom, boom, boom. Hey, Kool-Aid Man, jump through that and get us out of here.
Yeah. So that's where I just you're so stupid. You could have maybe placed that, I don't know, strategically or tactically on the ATST.
That would have been they, like I said, they could have either
been too easy.
My idea would have been hijacking the damn thing and writing it for yourself.
Yeah.
But 100%. Yeah, you make a good point. They could have snuck the bomb, tossed it in the cockpit of the ATST, and boom. All they would have had to have done was deal with the freaking goons at that point. Why then worry? I mean,
the sub note
could have ambushed them. They could have ambushed them at their camp.
Yeah,
they would have had to jump on them. They clearly weren't prepared for an attack. They were just having a good old time. It looked like.
But what do they do next? They do the only smart thing, and they head for the hills.
Well, yeah, they get ambushed by the ATST when that should have been their objective to begin with. Now begins the chase to start the whole fighting. They gave the now maybe this was just me, but they gave the ATST a roar. It seemed like it was like making animal roaring noises.
Yeah.
Like because I mean it was clearly not having pilots in there. It was just trying to make it out
Maybe
to be
it was the dogs roaring, howling.
I can't. I mean, I know some of it was supposed to be its own movements, and I guess because of how old
They
it
never
is,
howled. They never howled in
maintained,
Return of the Jedi.
so they weren't maintained. So they were rusty and making noises. I don't know, but it seemed like it was they gave it.
No, I know you're 100% right, but I'm just saying like they never howled in Return of the Jedi.
No, never.
But,
it had that cool sound effect for him.
Yeah. Where am I at? So I say, yeah, ATST about to wreck their day. And then it's just so stupid. So the ATST magically sees the dark pond in the dark. Have you ever tried to walk? Let's say you are in the vicinity of a pond and it's dark out. Are you able to
unless
see,
you can hear it, unless you can
are you
hear the
able
rustling
to,
of the
maybe.
water.
This is a pond, though, right? So would you be able to see where you were going if it was that dark?
This was part of my notes. I said, despite being dumb shit raiders, the pilots of the ATST seem to have enough sense not to go too far to fall into some traps. It was apparently aware enough not to go too deep.
It was like it's taking a step. It's like, water's cold. I don't want to go in.
Oh no!
Oh, too cold. Yeah, cold. That's literally that's what I thought when because it was clearly committed to taking the next step and then just magically just stops. So this ATSC has tremendously accurate balance to stop in mid-step, and maybe they actually do. I'm mine's on back order. I ordered it 7 years ago and it still hasn't come in yet. So and it just gets better. It's the gift that keeps on giving, as you say.
That's certainly Disney Wars in a nutshell. It's the gift that keeps on giving for wanting to rip this stuff apart for sure.
This next scene. So I said ridiculous scene about hold your positions with what? You can't even hold a fart. Like what are you? You have literally sticks.
They're all using sticks and low tier weapons and stuff like that. It's just
she's made a man out of them, so that's good.
Clearly. So let's see. After that I had little battle begins between the villagers and the bandits. ATST finally takes the wrong step and topples over long enough for Mando to get up to it and throw the bomb and blow it up. But that came after Cara Dune taking his
they call
disintegration right. Disintegration. I think she called it a pulse rifle. Yeah,
pulse rifle. Isn't it a disintegration?
But you know what was funny that I noticed is how it, when she got it when she was in the water, it looked like it was steaming
a little bit.
It was probably warm water in a cold night. I'm like, they warmed it up for her.
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't even know where.
But I mean, that was kind of the whole setup for her taking distracting it long enough and trying to bait it further to take those last steps to topple over.
Again, doesn't he still have whistling birds, or did he use those all up?
He used those apparently when he
killed all the stormtroopers.
Killed those stormtroopers when he was rescuing the Womp Rat.
Well, I just put ATST wrecking their night. I put who let the dogs out ? And then what a shot! Who did she shoot? Because in that scene, you just see like the red eye, like you see the inside. It's like red, but you don't see a pilot. Like I personally,
that was like I said, they turned the ATST into a monster for the monster of the day.
Yeah,
because they didn't show any pilots or anything like that of them being in the thing. They almost made it sound like it was automated, like it was moving on its own.
So what did she take out? Because she took a shot and it was in the opening, but like there's not. You just saw like
they don't ever show anyone inside.
Yeah, so how did you destroy it? Oh, what did you take? Like who did you take out and what did you do to it?
Magic.
I guess. I mean, hey,
that's all I can say.
Chewbacca took out the 2 pilots.
Yeah,
Both
we at
of them
least
out.
yeah. In Return of the Jedi, we got to see Chewbacca yank out 2 Imperial pilots that were killing a bunch of stupid teddy bears. So
let the Wookiee win.
Apparently.
Yeah. But
that's probably the smarter thing to do.
But yeah, did you see anybody? Did I miss something?
No, I was trying to look to see if there was anybody piloting the thing, and I couldn't ever notice anybody that was supposed to be behind the damn thing.
That's why I put what a shot. What a shot.
So then the bandits then escape once the ATST is no more. And then after the battle, Grogu is back to eating random animals. Although does it more as a gag for the kids he's hanging out with.
Yeah. I put dogs run with their tails between their legs. I said, the battle for Helm's Deep is over. The battle for the Spotchka is about to begin.
Yeah.
And I put this nasty child with his frog fetish.
Right? He's got to knock that crap off.
And then the stupidity keeps rolling. But
so ex-wife number 1 questions Mando about the helmet, asks about taking it off. He just says how once he takes it off, he can't ever put it back on, which as we see is a lie. He does put it back on
multiple times,
yeah.
Repeatedly.
And for stupid, and for one instance, a really stupid reason in season 2, but not this, and I'm not talking about the finale. But yeah, I mean, we clearly kind of see that's bullshit. But then,
it's like, I put,
go ahead.
So I didn't touch on that. So I'm glad that you kind of brought all that because
it's like, okay, so, but yeah, you take off the helmet. So what? I mean,
I guess it's hard, but it's also hard to say. Well,
sorry.
Well, I don't know. I'm going through the Bounty Hunter books, and I don't know if those books talk about I've never heard of this creed. I've never heard of it. Maybe it's
this
a thing.
Is something for this show, I think,
okay.
just to be able to keep.
Not canon. There's not a set of rules.
Not that I'm ever aware.
I mean, there's
of,
Bounty
I could
Hunter.
Be wrong.
There's Bounty Hunter rules, because even Dengar. If I'm butchering his, I hope I'm not butchering his name. But in the beginning of the first book, Bounty Hunter Wars, he says, talks about a rule about the bringing them in alive is this is my version of saying it, but it's always better to bring them in alive. It does them more good bringing them in alive, and he accents it to a rule. But I don't know anything about this creed taking off him. I don't even know if that's a Mandalorian thing. And I know Dengar wasn't a Mandalorian, but he was a bounty hunter.
Right.
Well, as far as I know, I don't.
Well, they had for the guild, they told the rules on some of that stuff. So,
but I just put nasty child with frog fetish. I said. She makes a comment that says he fits right in. I'm like, where? And then I jumped down to future ex-wife playing hard to get. I see you, Cara, with the old reverse psychology. I think I was just getting irritated, so I was trying to get through my notes, but you definitely touched on the helmet thing. You've done it multiple times. Well,
yeah, they kept bringing it up in this episode. They kept bringing it up. Oh, why don't you take off your helmet? Oh, why don't you take off your helmet?
Yeah, and he does it as because
this is the way.
Yeah, not the way.
This is the way. Damn it! Deal with it.
And then I put another Prius key fob.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, I said it's apparently been a few weeks since the fight. Mando says how because of the hell they raised with the bandits fight, they will probably have to move on already, and plans to leave Grogu there at the village to have a quote-unquote better life. After that, then like you mentioned, showing someone with a fob on the planet. Someone's thirsty for that Mando D. And I think that was between ex-wife number 2 and him, because she's like, I'll get up on that armor. She tries to take off Mando's helmet, but he stops her from doing so and says Grogu would be better off here. Shot goes off, and it was Cara Dune killing the bounty hunter. she managed to sneak up on, and they were tracking Grogu, which gives Mando the reason to leave the planet and continue his time in space. Which she was freaking magic with that, wasn't she?
Yeah.
How did she know?
Oh, yeah. I put Mando dropping lines to new future ex-wife. Makes the comment, "You and your boy." I was like, does she think that he's just a giant version of this womp rat? Is that what he looks like under? Like, is that what like? And then I jumped down to, I was like, bounty hunter gets smoked, literally. And then packing up, dipping out.
Yeah, my last note was just then, Dune, Cara Dune and Mando say their goodbyes, and the village saying goodbye to Mando and Grogu as well.
So many issues. Just so many issues with this. This is, like I said before the show, like, this is probably like the worst, like, in my opinion. And again, obviously, I understand it's an opinion. Not everybody.
This was a lot. This is, as I recall, was a lot of people's episode that they were just kind of like, what the hell?
Oh, really? Like, they weren't for it? They were against it?
They weren't for, yeah, they were just kind of like,
Well, the opening scene, I don't even, it's like something on freaking Avatar or something. I don't know, dude.
Well, like I said, to me, it reminded me of like the opening of an A-Team episode or something like that, where there's a small little town getting messed with by like cartel or cults or whatever. And it's like, oh, who could we go to get help about this? And then lo and behold, here comes Mando to the planet.
just
happens to be in the area.
Yeah. So I think just a lot of gaps from just context, and obviously, like, we can stop bringing up continuity because we know anything going forward, they have broken it and will continue to break it. But yeah, a lot of questions. Like I said before, like, I don't like watching something and just questioning. Like, there's times where, like, if you're watching like a thriller or a mystery, like, fine, yeah, you're gonna question things, but like,
but
like
that's
Star
like
Wars,
that's like you're questioning it along with
the
main protagonist that's also trying to figure out the mystery and stuff like that. Yeah, that's a whole other. That's something else. This is questioning it and going, okay, what the hell is wrong with this?
How does this make any sense? Like, if you're gonna bring something, it's like you're gonna bring in the ATST. Fine, how did it get there? Like, well, it doesn't matter because they have it. It's like, no, like, it does. Like, how does a what'd you say, a ragtag group of dog-faced Scooby cousins, whatever, get an ATST?
Yeah,
was it an abandoned? Okay, I can live with the fact, like, if it was an abandoned, if there's an abandoned Imperial base, but this, I don't see why the Imperials would be on a planet that like this planet. Unless they were in the brewing business of Spotchkid, but I don't think the Imperials were.
Yeah, so, just some alluding to, like, this was a former Imperial planet or something like that could have added a little more to, it was an abandoned base. Okay, that's how they got a hold of this ATS.
Right.
Gotcha. Just a little. I mean, they gave her the whole info dump on Cara Dune's background. She was like, telling it all out. So why not just a little, this used to be an Imperial controlled planet. This was maybe like a spot that she was part of for the rebellion. They kicked them off the planet or whatever, and she remembered it, came back, wanted to relax here. That sort of thing. Okay. All right.
None of that.
It's a bunch of exposition, but okay, at least now I've got a reason why they would.
If you're going to give a backstory about, if you're going to give a backstory about that character, you can afford to give a little backstory about, like, how they got, because when you watch it, makes no sense.
No, you wonder how is, with the big question, how the hell do these pug-faced dog bandits manage to get their hands on Imperial tech?
Right.
Come on.
You think they're that clumsy?
Like, I mean, I certainly don't, but that's me.
Well, I don't.
I apparently have too high of an opinion of it.
Listen, we're part of the Empire. We're imperialists. So that was, I just don't like watching something and then having to, like, try to put the pieces together. And I think the most irritating part is when I'm trying to put pieces together and it has either nothing to do with canon or it contradicts canon. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah. Well, it's for us. Everything's going to contradict canon when it comes.
Well, that's
to
why we do what we do.
When it comes to the mouse,
for sure. But that's what we do.
I agree.
So
I agree.
What was your biggest? Okay, so
my biggest gripe with this was they could have snuck into that camp and taken that ATSD away from the dog face bandits.
Right.
Boom. Done. Or at least it would have been hilarious watching them just destroy them with the ATSD. That would have been hilarious.
It would have been too bloody, too gory.
And, they get away with it with the cauterized laser burns and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, that was my one big point of it. And then, of course, him getting his ass thoroughly handed to him by Cara Dune. I get it. It kind of with the actress Carano, she has her MMA fighting background. I didn't know that until
I didn't know it either.
Watching this episode and then hearing people talk about her, I don't follow that world, so I had no idea.
Let me ask you this though. So was the multiple scenes that we saw?
I think that was the point of bringing her in. It was supposed to lend that extra bit of maybe credibility to her kicking his ass. But I mean, so you don't think that's in the the problem is that's in the real world. Okay, in the real world, she knows how to fight. Okay, cool, whatever.
Great.
But this is a character in the show. We have no other history, background, or whatever. That's it, and we're getting introduced to her beating up our main protagonist.
Right.
Okay.
So you think it had anything to do with emasculizing?
I think it had a part. I mean, that's part of their thing right now.
This is what I say. Like, here's the thing,
and make them look weak and beholden.
We know Kathleen Kennedy. We know what she stands for. We know what she pushes. So the old saying, the proof is in the pudding, and here we're sat at the dinner table. Like I put pieces together, and I just feel like this is just again them pushing their ideology, or I like to call ideological views. Yeah, right. And again, I'm not saying, I'm not a sexist. I'm not saying girls can't fight. I'm not saying that. But
no, that's not that. It's just a matter that there's a difference between the two sexes.
There is.
There's going to be
if you sit
there's
there,
a reason for that.
Yeah, and if you sit there and argue and say that that's not a thing, I'm not going to call you stupid, but I'm going to tell you to go research science and
biology.
Yes, thank you. I was trying to find the word and not sound like an idiot while I'm talking. But look at that. I'm not saying girls can't fight.
No, not at all.
What's the girl? What's her name? She's a famous UFC fighter that went to the freaking WWE. Ronda Rousey. I wouldn't want it. Listen.
Well, and I wouldn't. I don't know how to fight worth shit. I wouldn't want to mess with Carano or Ronda Rousey. So I'm pretty sure they could kick my fat ass, but I'm not. But at the same time, I might be able to roll and.
Yeah, I'm Irish, and from a younger age, we love fighting. That's just that's just part of the Irish. There's two things you love.
There's something about the Irish and fighting. Yeah.
I wouldn't want to be in the back of an alley with Ronda Rousey, right? Because she would mop the floor with me, right?
Yeah, you got a clear height advantage for one.
Well, that's true, but
maybe not a weight advantage, but
I might get a shot on her, but so there are women out there that can fight, but
absolutely.
But So that's just
it's trying to bring things to in-universe explanations, and as far as we you could look at it, I guess they were maybe equal footing, but they're even in Star Wars, people have their advantages and disadvantages based on either skill, martial prowess, yada yada. So the old Star Wars Galaxies game had the different rate between the different races of humans, Trandoshans, Ithorians, and what have you. They all had their advantages and disadvantages.
Right.
Humans were the balance. They were they could be good at just about. They could at least be doing about anything.
Right.
As I remember, Trandoshans were, and probably I think also Wookiees, but mainly Trandoshans were really good for the brawler classes.
Right.
And then I think the Wookiees were also good for creature handler to be able to do that. So I mean, there's different examples of it of groups having their advantages and disadvantages. And we got no extra explanation other than, like I said, her being the shock troop in the rebellion, which I'm sorry, but I know they won and all, but that was due to certain circumstances. I'll just put. Yeah, well, that's what I liked about the Thrawn book, right? Was that the Thrawn book kind of helped explain certain things on why the Empire just kind of flat out died at the end, or just didn't have the fighting spirit, was because Palpatine was essentially doing battle meditation and helping reinforce the Imperial troopers and stuff like that to keep fighting and everything. So that was what I did really like about, especially, I mean, besides the whole book and introducing like Mara Jade and everything, but I mean, that was kind of a cool little fill-in for, so that can be kind of your in-universe explanation of how then the rebellion just kind of ran roughshod over them.
Well, you bring an interesting point, because it's one of the, and again, I don't like EA, but there's a game I think they brought out to where it was after Palpatine had fallen down the shaft, or I guess, for lack of a better term,
you're not talking about Battlefront 2, are you?
No, I think it was in Squadrons, I think. But
I never played that
Rogue Squadron, or maybe it was Battlefront.
There was Battlefront 2 and Rogue Squadron that they released, and then of course, but at least for Rebel Empire era, those were the two games that I am aware of. I know Fallen Order was pre-Rebellion, and
was Battlefront 2 was Battlefront 2 post, or was it post Empire?
It was. It kind of started with during
Cinder Squad or Project Cinder or whatever.
I don't remember exactly. I just know it started out at the
end of Endor,
before Endor, got into Endor, and then everything went to shit.
Yeah, and Palpatine and yeah. So this is the game. What I'm referencing is like Palpatine is helped down the shaft by Vader, and then they lose. Like they're all discouraged. So
they were discouraged. Palpatine supposedly had some leftover orders for this group.
Yeah.
And then it just, of course they have to abandon the Empire and yada, yada.
I think it was a combination of a couple things. I think definitely of a battle meditation, but I think Sheev is the Sheevmeister, man. They enjoyed working for him. This guy, employed a lot of people, and
he did.
It's people like, how can you like Sheev? Because he's Sheev.
She was awesome. But, that was part of. Those were my two glaring points. Was Mando getting his butt kicked, and they didn't hijack the ATSD for themselves. Do you have any specific points that?
No, it's just
or?
For sure. And I wish that again, I'm glad that we did the Book of Boba, but it would have made, I guess, more sense to do Mandalorian and then head to Book of Boba, because it's just the deconstruction of characters, and to your point, like nascalizing them, right? Like, they did. They've done it with Mando, and then I guess with Boba, and it's just like it's like there's no reason why Mando should have lost that fight.
Well, that was part of my joke in Book of Boba Fett, was Fennec Shand basically became more Boba Fett than Boba Fett.
100%. So the fight scenes, like he should, and you bring shame and dishonor to Boba. Like the amount of time it took Mando to draw his gun. Like I remember the scene in Return of the Jedi where Leia, has a thermal detonator.
Yeah.
And like she raises it up, and Boba draws his rifle.
Yeah, he was ready to shoot her dead right there in the.
The same time that she showed the thermal, his blaster was up. Like that's how quick he was.
Yeah.
And then
he didn't mess around.
He was not about it. He was ready to. He was locked, cocked, and loaded, ready to go. But just the fight scene and the whole ATSD didn't make any sense. Going in the back, like, was that like it was a very Anakin-esque, like, oh, I'm going to go in the back of the, tent and take these people out. So, but they didn't even show the ATSC around the tent. Like, where,
It was
did they?
apparently somewhere nearby.
It was close.
But they apparently
ended up
just
coming face to face with it. But...
Yeah, I mean, they just weren't. They didn't, like I said, they didn't have.
Yeah.
What?
Oh, and then the basket scene, the ridiculous, stupid hiding in the pond basket scene. Like, why don't you?
Hey,
go
they were in the water, and
maybe
I don't know. Hiding.
Tell the child to shut up, and maybe go underwater and hold your breath.
Well, the basket was supposed to help with that, right?
You literally saw them. Let's be honest. Like, there's you could put a hand through that basket.
Oh yeah. I mean, it was magical that they managed to not see.
Yeah. And then the taking off. There's a lot. And then taking off the helmet. That, if I could narrow it down to top 3, I'd say the fight scene, ATST, and then I'll do 0.5 for the pond scene, and then another 0.5 for taking off the helmet. That whole ridiculous taking off the helmet scene in front of the children that could clearly see you, but we're
from
too
the
distracted
window.
From the window, but we're too distracted with little Womp Rat. That's what I'd say.
Yeah,
top 3.
I'd have to agree.
How do you rate it?
2 out of 5 or 2 out of 10, whatever we were using for our metric.
We're doing 2 out of 10. We out of 10. We need to write these down. So I'm gonna write you. So you're going 2 out of 10.
Yeah, I'm gonna say so, because
there's gonna be people. Okay, and I know there's probably listeners gonna be like, "How do we come up?" So we're gonna. There's probably people asking.
There's no real metrics for it other than what I just think of the episode, and it wasn't. I don't think very highly of it. I was in and out of actually watching this episode. I was pausing it, watching something else in between, and it didn't really hold my attention, at least for the most part. The last episode we had some of the little drama with him and the Mandalorians, and him getting out of the town, taking the stupid kid.
I think a good way to rate it would be take past episodes, and kind of base it off that. What, are you engaged? Does it keep you engaged? Does it keep you wanting to continue to watch it? Are you pausing it? Are you asleep? Are you trying to come up?
Are you asleep at the wheel? Who knows?
Yeah, are you asleep at the wheel? Are you struggling trying to make notes or take notes? I think all kind of
notes were easy. The note part was easy to take. I kind of
at times I was
that was part of why I was kind of also pausing too, was just so I could get the notes down before it continued on. But a lot of it was going in between everything.
Yeah. And then for me, it's does it hold a candlestick to canon? Do they follow any? Is there any type of?
This is entirely their own. Fiction tier, freaking stories. They're not following anything. It's just called, this is our story. Deal with it.
Yeah. So I think just to explain how you come up with a grading, that's how that's what I do when I watch it. Is it engaging? And am I wanting to off myself? Do I want to go chug a cauldron of Jawa juice or Corellia?
I think I gave last week's a 4 out of 10 or whatever, because I was I was partly entertained by the scorpion kill, the little bit of fighting and stuff like that.
Right.
So I had kind of been more favorable towards that episode.
This was just hard to watch. This was for me
a bad episode. It was just bad.
I'd probably agree. I couldn't even go to. I listen here. Hold numbers are, it's a rookie scale. Solid numbers are a rookie scale, but I can't bring myself to give it even a 2.1. So I mean,
hey, you do what you got to do, man.
I'd say 1.8, man. It was just hard, and I say that, and I'm not trying to be a hard critic, but it's just hard for me to watch, man. I had to restart it 3 or 4 times this morning, partially because I was hungry and I was trying to fix food, but I was trying to it was just I would literally have to start it and restart it, start it again, restart it, because I was just having a hard time following it and just not engaged. And there's just a lot of just gaps in it, a lot of gaps. A lot of questions. So 1.8 final score in the books. Can't change it. Sorry, sucks to suck.
I was sorry. I was kind of looking ahead to see what the next episode was gonna.
What's it called? I've not looked at it yet.
The next episode is called The Gunslinger.
That's right, Gunslinger.
And this is where the Jawa Humper gets introduced. Oh, god damn it!
Oh, is this your favorite character, the mechanic?
Uh,
Oh, I'm so. Everybody that's listening and future listeners, please join the next live stream. It's gonna be great. This is Fractured Filter's favorite character.
Oh god!
This is his favorite character of all time, and I love it.
How dare you?
How
dare you? You bastard!
We all know your love of
crap.
Jawas.
I've revealed a weakness. No.
I'm making the next thumbnail. It's happening. Prepare yourself. It's gonna be great.
Oh no!
Courtesy of J Hitman 187.
Oh no!
You can make you could do the official thumbnail, I guess, but I'm definitely making one for you. And I'm gonna.
What have I done?
I'm so excited. Next show, I'm gonna be doing it live from my computer, so I won't be kicked, and I'm gonna add a thumbnail.
I'm gonna be Anakin after he killed Mace Windu. What have I done?
Yeah, you're like, what have I done?
Oh no.
It's gonna be great.
Oh boy. Well.
I think we have to decide. Yeah, so episode 5, chapter 5. I said episode 5, chapter 5, and then
whatever.
Come up with some. Hopefully, some.
We'll see what we'll see what gets brought next week for.
They're really
between that, the episode, and stuff like that. I'm sure
they really want us to be successful with this show because they kept giving us.
They gave us plenty of ammunition. That's for sure. I thought I had to go through a few more articles, but then that
who else are
IGN
you following?
article
So you're following. So just for for me personally, but also for those who might be listening, future listeners. So who all are you technically? You don't have to go through everybody. But what are your top? Let's say 5 people that you're following, where you're getting like the most.
So basically,
like
this is how you can
like good stuff. Yeah. So
yeah,
talk about
so,
Bounding in Comics.
Yeah, for articles and stuff like that, I go to Bounding into Comics. For Star Wars lore, proper lore, I go to, of course, I'll go between Open Airlock, which you can find all
Open
these
Airlock
channels.
Policy is that?
Yeah, Open Airlock Policy. You can find them on YouTube with these names and with on Twitter.
They're pretty solid. Yeah.
Yeah. So him, and then of course OG Star Wars.
Yep.
Raging Rhino. He's
good on. One too. I've not followed him, but he's popping up on my Twitter. So I was going to ask.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely follow him. He's another one.
What about Mandalore?
Mandalore. That's a good one too. That I recently found thanks to Alora OG Star Wars. Found that channel, and then he had another channel. I forget the exact name, but did a whole breakdown of how Filoni's Star Wars. Clone Wars doesn't fit at all into the proper canon, which I think I sent you those videos. I think I sent
you.
You
yeah. He's the one that actually dresses up as a Mandalorian. Yeah.
Yeah, and then his other video was it was really good. Otherwise,
you do.
That's
Drunk 3PO. Do you follow him?
Drunk 3PO. I follow him. He mainly he doesn't always talk about Star Wars, but he definitely. He definitely was breaking down a lot of what was going on with the Galactic Star Cruiser, and because he does a lot of he does the park hopping channel with Geeks and Gamers.
Yeah.
So he does that. So that was why he was really following, and he was breaking down a lot and getting a lot of extra news out for the whole Galactic Star Cruiser information. That's where I had that. I think I brought it up, the screenshot of the transport truck.
Oh yeah. We had a heyday with that.
So yeah, those would definitely be, and I'll eventually have to start adding channels to go to in my description, because I saw Open Airlock Policy on some of his videos.
That's what I'm trying to.
He had that as a little thing of recommended other YouTube channels. So definitely have to do that. And this is definitely, it's just for in regards to Star Wars content.
Yeah.
Those for the proper EU lore. Those are
Nice.
those are the people that I've found that I'm like, okay, they're solid, they're
Solid,
reliable. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah, put those down in the description. I'll
have to get to that eventually. Yeah.
No, you're good.
I've just been mainly focusing on our stuff.
No, definitely. Yeah, and then that's what I've been trying to do, retweet and kind of I've followed quite a few of those people. Some of those guys they don't have Twitter, Instagram, but I have been trying to follow them for good stuff, and hopefully maybe someday they'll come on our show and then they'll
Who knows?
We'll see. You never know.
Sky's the limit.
Somewhere. That's not the point. The point of this show is not to get big. Like I care less. I just have fun doing it, and hopefully along the way,
it's just us talking.
Yeah, hopefully along the way, other people will see what we're trying to do and join the cause. And the cause is to bring total destruction upon the mouse.
Absolutely.
That's my goal. All right.
Hey.
With that being said, anything else? Any announcements you want to make?
Nah, that's all I can say for now. We'll see what happens in the future, though. Everybody, you got our social medias you can follow from the description.
Do we have
by all
means. Put Discord out there yet?
No, I'm holding off on that. I'm just keeping.
I think I know why. I'm doing the same. So.
Anyway,
I'll
play a little something, and we'll be out. Peace.
Mockery. Oh, Master, I do not trust you. I cannot trust you or anyone ever again.